everybody. Welcome live to the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. So good to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Jim Masters reporting for duty here in the New York area of the United States on the East Coast. Beautiful, warm, 85 degrees and sunny right now at 7 o'clock at night. We'll take it. Really cool. Wherever it is around the world, weather-wise, we welcome you. We hope you're having a good day. And boy, we're excited, gang, because we have one of our favorite guests making a return visit to JMS. Look who's with us. Our next guest and return guest and special guest is the one and only recording artist extraordinaire, singer extraordinaire, Landau Eugene Murphy Jr. Of course, winner of America's Got Talent, season 6, and you remember him from that. But a lot of you, I know, have been following his career ever since then and getting his music and going to the concerts. And we're excited because he's got new music out too as well, we're going to be talking about. And he's not messing around. He's coming to us from West Virginia. He'll tell you where in just a second. Again, this is his return visit, gang. He was with us before, about a year or so ago, and we were talking about his incredible career, his family, and he's got a beautiful family, lots of love surrounding him. And all of our viewers here at JMS fell in love with him again when he was a guest on the show, and you've been asking about him. So we connected once again, and Lando said, yes, absolutely. I want to come back on the show, Jim. I got lots to talk about, lots to share. So he is back with us, and we are so excited. From America's Got Talent, yes, but so much more beyond that. Here he is, coming to us from West Virginia, USA. Lando, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Hello, Jim Masters. How you doing, sir?
Not bad, sir. You as well.
Good, I'm good.
You have been busy. Again, congratulations on everything. Of course, America's Got Talent was such an incredible story. But since then, you came out of the gate ready to go, rolled up sleeves, and let's take the world on. And catch us up on some of the amazing things since we chatted last. You've had so many beautiful things happen in your life, and you've earned them all, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful journey. Just, keeping my feet on the ground and knocking out these shows around the world, actually, going places like New York, California, all the way to Dubai. I've been to Dubai. I mean, it's, got to go to the top of the Caliph and, introduce myself to the Sheikh and all that stuff. So it's been amazing, man, how far this blessing has taken me, and even during the pandemic on those downtimes, I was still able to pick myself up because, there was no shows going on, but I did like a virtual concert, a Christmas show. So it's like my 14th annual Christmas tour just happened. And now we're going into the 15th. And we're going into the 14th. It was the 13th last Christmas. And, but before all of that, like the pandemic hit, and it was a sad time because, I love to perform. I love to, engage with my fans and things like that. And we couldn't be around each other. But even in all of that, I found a way to occupy my time, and I went back to school. And I got my high school diploma while I was sitting at home with nobody, just four walls. I started studying online and got my high school diploma. So now I feel even better.
Congratulations, my friend. That is awesome. That's fantastic.
I appreciate it. And that was really, really tough.
What was the hardest part of it?
Just getting your mind back into school. I mean, I've been out of school for 20, 25 years or more. So just to get back into that whole thing and then get over the embarrassment of it all, that was the hardest part. And then algebra. I forgot that algebra has numbers and alphabet. So
yeah. It's like,
oh my gosh. I don't want to see it ever again. I don't want to experience that in life ever again.
No, we don't.
I took care of it. I don't want to see another numerator or denominator. I don't want to see any of that stuff anymore. And I'm just going to focus.
But But there's a lot of math and music too. So how do you work that all out?
Yes. It's a lot of math and music, especially when you're learning instruments and chords and things like that. So it's always with me, but I'm glad I was able to, use the sense that I already had, plus the book sense that I piled on top of those and got down and got my high school diploma. And plus, I came up with this great slogan called "It's Never Too Late to Graduate."
I
Because
like that.
we're trying to break that stigma, and that stigma is, like I said, is that it's that embarrassment, because all your peers have already went through high school and they moved on and they graduated, but in the back of your mind you're like, I know I'm smarter than Billy. How did Billy get a diploma? And I did.
How
Like,
did he get it, right?
I know I'm smarter than that dude. Like, I've seen his test, I've seen everything he's done in life. There's no way he's smarter than me. But he got a diploma, so I had to go back and get it, man. And I feel real good about it. And I was able to hand that to my mom, and that was the best part about it. It's just surprising her with that. If you go on my TikTok, you'll see the whole thing where I kind of stood in my cap and gown, and she never even looked up. She was putting pennies in penny rollers, just, in her own little world. And then she happened to look up and see me standing there in that cap and gown, and that was just an amazing moment for me.
God, remember those penny rolls and dime rolls and nickel rolls? I used to help
My
the family
mom
do
still
that
does
too.
that.
Yeah, she still do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why she still does it.
It's
Like, I keep telling her, I was like, Mom, you can put all that in a jar and go to the Walmart or somewhere and pour it in a machine, and
machine, and you get actual green cash out of it, right?
Right. Why are you?
No, but
She's
she
like,
likes.
oh boy,
She's more secure in the rolls, right? There it is,
Yeah.
and
She go through that drawer with all her different glasses so she can
yeah,
see what she's doing. She got like 16 pair of glasses. None of them
yeah.
are prescribed for her. just
That
a
is
drawer full of glasses like Sanford and Son. You remember Fred G. Sanford used to do that, right? You had to look at
right.
something and go to that drawer. My mom has that same drawer. And she
That's
grabs a pair of glasses out. Nope, can't use them. Yep, these will work right here. These is the ones I need right here. And I crack up every time. But I tell her, I was like, Mom, you can go like to a coin place now and pour that in a machine, and it'll sort all of that out
and
for
you'll
you.
get it all in nice rectangle bills.
Yeah.
It's nice to touch them.
Yeah.
Have the big numbers on them. That is funny, right? You had this great soul and jazz and Sinatra-esque vibe, which is amazing that you've had early on. How much, going to Detroit at an early age like that can be, the big city, scary, especially, coming from quieter West Virginia and all.
Yeah.
But in ways, you probably picked up a lot of, vibe and musicality and just different things being in the Motown area, Motor City, with all of that attention and all of that vibe around you. That in a way was a good thing, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very a great learning experience. I mean, you get the good and the bad from being in the city life, obviously. But I came from West Virginia, West by God, and don't you forget the by God, ladies and gentlemen, Virginia, West Virginia. And
He told me that before we went live, folks.
yeah,
That's it.
and it's it's down to earth, and it's down salt to earth people down here. But I grew up in basically a Motown house, but there was also Cyndi Lauper. There was also Bryan Adams, the Oakridge Boys. Lionel Richie and Rockwell and all these things. It was a show called Night Tracks that used to come on, and they would show all these videos. That's when artists actually made videos for their music.
Remember?
And I used to watch everything, man. So I grew up with the Motown around me, especially like Marvin Gaye's Temptations, Four Tops, Supremes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then there was also that countryside where you had the Oak Ridge Boys, Bryan Adams, Garth Brooks, just about it, Randy Travis, all of them. And then on the pop side, you had Madonna before Madonna, which was Cyndi Lauper. Nobody knows that, but she was the first Madonna, that we knew of, and Pat Benatar and all those wonderful entertainers. But being taken away from West Virginia and placed into Detroit, more the hip hop started to take over in my life, and it was, it went from I guess the first part of hip hop that I recognized was Rapper's Delight. And that was still in West Virginia. I was little though. I was like a little kid. That was 1974. I was basically 1 year old when that came out. And so I heard the Rapper's Delight and things like that, Sugar Hill Gang, Curtis Blow. But once I got to Detroit, it was more LL Cool J, Run DMC. They started to take over, and the Crush Groove movement. You know, the fat shoelaces, Adidas. You know,
And
the
some of
shell
disco
toes.
was still happening a little bit too, right? The
Yeah,
disco,
disco. You
right?
still had Donna Summers and all of that stuff going on. Yeah. But then, you know, that hip hop started taking over, especially in the community that I was in. It was like I said, it was like Little Baghdad overnight. You go from watching Dukes of Hazzard and Police Chases to actually seeing them in real life going down your street. Like, what? Did I just see a police chase? Like, you know, and but the hip hop, that whole vibe was real strong. That R&B vibe was very strong. You had groups down at the end of the block that became famous. You had, you know, kids that I grew up in school at that time that ended up going to the NBA and things like that. But that hip hop vibe and that R&B vibe was really, really thick. So, you know, that's all you really heard. I didn't get to hear the country side of things anymore. I didn't get to hear the, you know, the Bryan Adams and all that stuff. It was more LL Cool J, Run DMC, Fat Boys. Then you had, you know, still a little bit of Curtis Blow. He was on his last leg. But then it goes into Stetson Sonic and Fushnikins and, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
what was that movement? BDP and, you know, all of those, the Stetson
All of that.
Sonics and everybody, man. And then it went into, you know, NWA. Once NWA really came in, that's when it started getting really wild to even go to a party or try to do anything in the community because there was always violence after the shows or during the shows. You know, one side of the street doesn't like the other side of the street. They play that one song and it's over. You know, and some little girls shot dead in the sandbox, and she had no idea that there was an argument over here over a song or color or a pair of shoes that somebody snatched off somebody's feet. You know, I had friends that was getting knocked out and dragged to a whole nother neighborhood and wake up in a dumpster, you know, with their jacket, their Sixer jacket gone or their felines off their feet and stuff like that. So you start to see all these things and you start to put in your head like, okay, I know what path to go down now. You know, I'm wise enough not to go down that street, or I'm wise enough not to wear these shoes in this neighborhood. You know, so my mom was always wise too. So I grew up on Pro Wings, you know, Pro Kids, them slippy slides, and it was
Pro
tough.
Kids, remember Pro Kids?
Yeah,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then I had the all plastic Pro Wings, man, and it was hard doing suicides, running suicides in basketball in gym class
Yeah.
because I couldn't stop.
You just kept going. Kind of like your career. You
Oh
just
my
kept
God.
going, right?
Yeah, Jim. They taught me how to keep going.
And he'll taught you how to keep going. That's
I
right.
remember my coach would be like, go down, you run down, you touch this line, you come back, you touch that line, you come back. And I would touch that line and slide onto the wall. And everybody else going back the other way. But it made me faster than everybody. Once I got some real rubber bottom shoes, I was faster than everybody out there.
The track team probably wanted you to join them.
I was good at cross country. I had to run cross country to play basketball. You know, to play sports in the city, they made us run cross country. You know, and I was good at that when running long distance. I could sprint really good, but I hated it. I hated running unless I had a basketball in my hand or football.
Yeah, right, exactly. How did the jazz and the, there is a relationship between uh, hip hop and rap and jazz. They say
Yes.
that it sort of came out of a lot of
Yeah.
jazz elements, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, remember the group Stetson Sonic talking all that jazz and
Right.
Gangstar. They always use jazz melodies. Also, A Tribe Called Quest, Lower End Theory. That's one of my favorite albums. That's all jazz music behind all those hip hop rhymes. You know, and so that whole thing was that vibe. I love jazz. Jazz was a part of my life without me knowing it. You know, I mean, you can go to a party or your family can have a gathering and they'll play Marvin Gaye or they'll play, you know, Michael Jackson, and it's just part of, you know, everything. But jazz was something that was off in the corner, that was happening without you even realizing it was happening around you. Like it be in a Little Debbie's commercial, you know, or be on Merry Melodies or Looney Tunes. I picked up a whole lot of that whole feeling of loving jazz from watching cartoons. You know, Bugs Bunny, Merry Melodies. Remember they used to always make fun of the Rat Pack.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
they made fun of, you know, Frank Sinatra, the singing rooster, Bing Crosby, you know, and that he would come out like, ba 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 ba. And then, you know, the chicks would go, oh, Frankie, and lay all their heads to the ceiling. You know, that was part of my upbringing. And I used to do that once I got to the city and to the hood where, you know, people were bullying you or picking on you for what you wore. I would change the narrative and I would sing those type of songs to them and just make them laugh. And it stopped them from picking on me or shooting up the playgrounds and all kind of stuff. So that jazz just changed my life forever. And once I realized that I could do that, it was like, wow, I can actually save my own life in the hood by making people laugh about it. But I didn't see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture was the community. What could I do with this gift to give back to my community or to give back to my peers, people in my age bracket that are dying every day from, you know, drug or drive-bys or shootouts and things like that. You know, because the first thing they do is call you a square, you know, L7 or church boy, choir boy and all that. So I got all of those bullies coming at me in that type of way. But once they started to realize that I was serious and how I was changing things around me, they started to appreciate it. People started to look at it like, wow, you really have talent. You really have
you were earning
gift.
their respect, right?
Yeah.
They wanted you to sing. Hey, sing something.
Yeah. But it would always be like, hey man, come over here, listen to him, bro. He sound like what's that dude's name, bro? What's the guy? I'd be like Frank Sinatra. They like, yeah, bro, he sound like Frank Sinatra.
And I'm his best friends, and I'm his best friends, and I'm his best friend.
Yeah. And everybody start getting close to you, and then they want to take you to the clubs, you know, and things like that. And so everybody would be in the bar singing Jodeci or Jagged Edge, and you know all these other songs, Maxwell and things like that. All these R&B or neo soul type songs, and I would get up there and sing Frank Sinatra. And I would have the whole place laughing. This is in the hood. This is an all black community, you know what I'm saying, where they just used to hip hop and R&B. They wasn't used to somebody like me getting up there singing Frank Sinatra and sounding, if not like Frank Sinatra,
Right.
just as good, you know. And so it's just like I would get up there and do it, and I would look around and man, and people would be handing me drinks. At the time, I didn't even drink, but it would be drinks, and I would just give them all to my friends and things like that. But one defining moment was I had a boss. I was working for Southfield Chrysler Jeep and Eagle on 12 Mile and Telegraph in Detroit, Michigan. It was out in Southfield, Michigan, but it's still Detroit. But anyway, I'm out there working, and so on Fridays we would all like go to this bar called the Balloon Saloon, and I would go out there and sing karaoke with some of my people that I worked with, my boss and everybody, some of the secretaries, and all of us would go out there and just, you know, have a good time. And they would always pick me to sing songs, and I would get up there and sing anything, like anything that they wanted me to sing, from Michael McDonald to Randy Travis to, you know, but when I would get to the Frank Sinatra songs, they would be like, what? Like, and then my boss was like, one day I was in the car wash, and at this time I'm starting to really love the whole Frank Sinatra thing and Nat King Cole thing. I'm starting to love it. And so I'm starting to listen to it in my headphones as I'm detailing cars, getting them ready for the auto shows, Detroit auto shows and things like that. And one day I got my headphones on, I'm sitting in the wash bay and I'm singing, and my boss is standing behind me like this, just looking at me, shaking his head. And I take one of the ears off like, what? He was like, why are you even here? And I was like, what, you firing me for having on headphones? He was like, no, you should not be here. You need to be in Las Vegas somewhere. Why are you washing cars? Like, you should be somewhere in on a cruise ship or, in Las Vegas or Sony Records or
Broadway show
somewhere.
or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you supposed to be headlining Coliseums or something. Like, man, there's no way you're supposed to be working here. And I was just like, oh, whatever, because in my mind, it's still Def Comedy Jam. Because, you know, my surrounding always thought it was funny. Everybody around me always thought it was just a funny thing. He never told me that it was something real. You know what I mean? They always thought of it as a joke. And so he was like, no, it's not a joke. He's like, those people that are laughing wish that they could do what you do. And that's why they're laughing. So Friday, I want you to bring some clothes to work. So I want you to, after work, I want you to change clothes and I'm going to take you somewhere. And I was like, okay. So Friday come around, I did what he said. I brought an extra change of clothes. I went in the locker room, got out of my uniform, put on my extra clothes. And he's like, park your car in the lot. We're going to lock it in the gate and I'm going to get in my truck. So we get in his truck. He drives me way out to the suburbs to Mr. B's pub, like an Irish pub. And it's crazy because, you know, I'm a Murphy. So, hey, what do you do?
Yeah. What do? You have a pint.
Yeah, right. So we go out to this pub and he was like, listen, Landau, when we walk in here, people are going to look at you funny because they don't see, you know, people like you out here. So just stay right by my side. I was like, all right, I'm used to that. You know, we walk in and just like he said, it was like chatter all in the place. As soon as we opened the door and walked in and closed the door behind us, the whole place stopped and looked over at me like this. And then they went right back to, you know, chattering.
Back to eating. Yeah.
And he winked at me like, I told you. He's like, follow me. Come on, let's go to the bar. So we go to the bar. He was like, order whatever you want to drink. He said, bartender, give me whatever he wants to drink. And I was like, give me a Sprite. And he was like, you sing these songs and all you drink is Sprite? So
Sprite?
I was like, yeah. He's like, I thought you drink. I was like, no, I don't even drink, you know. And he's like, all right, give him a Sprite. And he was like, I'll be right back. I was like, where are you going? So everybody's still looking at me, but they're chattering, you know, talking, sitting there at the bar. He comes back with a wireless microphone and he hands it to me. And I was like, well, what? He was like, just start singing. I was like, now in front of, like, nobody's even paying attention. He was like, that's what I want you to do. Just start singing. And I'm scared. I'm so scared. It's the scariest I've ever been singing these songs. Because like I said, it was always a funny thing. It was always comedy. But he took it serious. He was like, no, I'm going to show you exactly what you have. And he said, start singing now. Took a deep breath and I closed my eyes and put my head down and I started singing, Fly Me to the Moon. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. I started going through that whole thing and I could hear the room getting quiet. Mm-hmm. You know, the chatter went away. By the time I got to the last part of that song, I opened my eyes. It's like $1,700 in front of me. And I was just like, whoa. I started scraping the money and people were patting me on my back and some people had these little flip phones or they were Nextels then, the little chirp things. You know, they had those like, listen to this, man, listen to this guy.
And you didn't start taking the money and putting it in the penny rolls, did you?
No. I started sticking it in my shirt because I thought, you know, I'm like, I'm about to get this money before they change their mind.
Start the car quick.
I start pulling the money in and then I'm looking for Paul and Paul's disappeared. I don't know where he is. And I'm like looking for him. And everybody's patting me on the back like, what kind of drink you want, man? Give him whatever he want. I'm like, no, I don't drink, man. Just give me a Sprite. You know, and I had like 5 Sprites in front of me now with lemons in them. And I'm still looking for Paul. I'm like, where's Paul at? And I look and Paul's way back over in the corner with his arms folded like, I was like, whoa. It just like, that changed my whole life right there. And that's when I started really going to the bars and singing it for real and taking it serious. And I still had the hecklers. I still had, you know, that guy from the hood with the gold teeth in his mouth and the big donkey chain. Like, man, listen to this dude, man, crazy, man. That thing don't break the nut. You know, but his girlfriend loved me. And so they would fight after the, you know, I would get on stage, they fighting in the lobby, you know what I'm saying? Because she's over like, you know, and then, you know, and then once that started happening, it was like it changed my life, and I started doing it for like the community. I started doing it for nursing homes or abused children, abused women, things like that. I wasn't getting paid for it, but I didn't even realize it was God's way of just grooming me, getting me ready for a stage like America's Got Talent or even Mudfork, West Virginia. This is Mudfork, West Virginia. There's no black people in Mudfork. And I'm the only black guy out there at a pig roast singing Frank Sinatra with an all-white band around me, and I'm not even getting, rocks thrown at me or anything. They're loving it. My color is gone. And that's when I realized, I was like, wow, anytime I ever did hip hop or rap, every time I went to the parking lot, somebody had slashed my tires, or it's a fight in the parking lot, or somebody had keyed my car because this girl liked me being on stage, or it was just always some chaos. But when I sing that music, there's never no violence. There's no Air Force Ones getting stepped on. There's nobody's Jordans getting messed up and they're fighting over their shoes or what they got on or anything. That doesn't even matter in this world. It doesn't even matter in that environment. And that's when I realized that that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I moved back after being homeless in Detroit, I hurried up and packed up and I moved out of Detroit. I moved back to West Virginia. But by that time I moved back to West Virginia, that epidemic has really took hold, like pills and crack and all that stuff has took hold in my community. So all the kids that I grew up with then are now strung out, no teeth in their mouth, and looking 50 years older than me. I'm like, man, I'm 30. Well, at the time when I moved back, I was 27 maybe. I was like 27 years old. Well, my friends that I grew up with in kindergarten all the way up to basically elementary school, they all looked like they was 10, 15 years older than me because they had got a hold of the drugs and the alcohol and all this stuff. I held on to my childhood for as long as I could till my mom was like, okay, it's time to put the G.I. Joes down. You got to get out of the sandbox and change your clothes. You can't dress like that no more. You got to. And that's what made me grow up. It was those things like that when my mom telling me, like, you can't play with G.I. Joes. Why you still riding a bike to the store? Like, go get a car. You don't need to ride a bike no more. I love my BMX Challenger. I wasn't trying to get rid of it. Like, it was black and gold, man.
Did you have the ramps too?
Oh, yeah, all of that. But see, the good part about being in Detroit riding a bike was everybody had a driveway. So it's house, driveway, like that, all the way up the block. And so you could ride on the street, and then when you wanted to jump, you just run up somebody's driveway right there at the curb, and that was your ramp. You had ramps all the way down the block, so I never had to build another ramp unless I went out to Sunnyside somewhere with suburb kids. We were riding in these woods like it ran along River Rouge. It was like a trail that they had built out there that we would, and it was miles away from my house. We would have to ride all the way out there to get on it. But like I was saying, that whole vibe just changed my whole life. And
it's incredible, right?
And I just I don't see myself doing anything else but giving back. And that's
it's a beautiful thing.
My grandmother, my mom, my family just raised me like that. We always slept with our doors open. So seeing that whole life in Detroit, I remember all my friends in Detroit, most of them, their parents were on crack and things like that, and they didn't really have a home, so they would spend the night at our house. All our friends never wanted to go home. They would always spend the night at our house and go to school from our house. My mom would always take all these kids all these kids from the street that was really good kids, but they just didn't have the right upbringing. They didn't have somebody to tell them, no, you can't do that. Quit stealing these cars. Or get off of that corner, And my mom was that mom. All my friends were scared of my mom, including me. I was scared of her too. So it's like, man, your mom is strict, man. You can't do nothing. But they loved her. And they loved that discipline that she would give to them.
And it was all out of love, right?
Yeah, it kept
all
a lot
out
of
love.
My friends out of prison. My mom kept a lot of my friends out of prison.
She did, huh?
And for the ones that didn't pay attention, they ended up in prison or the Wayne County morgue.
Mm.
Yes, they did. By the time I was 17, half of them are dead. And a lot of them are in Jackson prison. But the ones that listen to my mom, they're still thriving to this day. Some work for FedEx. They drive trucks across the country. Some of them went to the NBA, you know. Some of them are lawyers and doctors now. And I'll be like, wow. And they always, when they see me, they, man, your mom changed my life. So give it up to my mom, Miss Mona Lisa Murphy. Yes.
Absolutely right. I
Today's
tell
her
you.
birthday, actually.
Today?
Today, June the 3rd, is Mona Lisa Murphy's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom. I love you.
Want to sing her happy birthday on the show? Go ahead.
Yeah, yes. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear mommy, Mona Lisa. Happy birthday to you and many more. Shut the
Happy
door.
birthday. Shut the
Get off the
door.
floor.
Give me more.
Give me more.
When I was 17,
Yeah.
it was a very good year.
Very good news.
I always like that Sinatra song. There's just something about that song where he talks about the transitional moments of his life. And
Yeah.
do you have a favorite of his? Is That's Life a favorite or others?
All of them. I can't. Everybody always asks me what's the favorite song. How can you choose your favorite song? I still don't understand. I've never understood that concept. There's so many
It's like
great
choosing your
songs.
favorite child. It's hard. You can't do that.
Right.
Right.
How do you
Right.
choose? How do you choose from this song to that song? I mean, some songs are better than others, but when it comes to saying, "Oh, this is my favorite song," will I listen to this song every day, all day, 24 hours a day? No, you'll switch to another song because you want something different. Like it's just the way it is. Like, and I don't have a favorite genre. I mean, I
Yeah.
love Motown, I love R&B, I love jazz, I love
Yeah.
rock, I love bluegrass, I love country, I love pop, I love contemporary, I love neo soul, I love them all. Standards, classics, opera, everything. I love anything that has to do with the arts. And I think that's the way we should all be. You shouldn't just place yourself in this box. Like, and when I remember going on American Got Talent, when I first told everybody that I was doing it, like my immediate family, they immediately jumped. You gotta do Motown. You better not go on stage singing no Frank Sinatra. My cousins, the ones who had never seen me do it. They only seen me do Motown. They had never seen me do Frank Sinatra. And I was like, y'all always see me do, Temptations or Stevie Wonder or Marvin Gaye. You always see that, Michael Jackson. You always see it. You've never seen me do Frank Sinatra, so how can you decide what I should do? And they literally cursed me out. Like some of my male cousins cursed me out. Man, you crazy. You better not go on TV singing no Frank Sinatra, man. You gotta do, man, I'm telling you, bro, you gotta do Motown. You gotta do, you have to do, you better go in there, you gotta sing some Temptations. You gotta hit them with the Marvin Gaye. You know you do good with the Marvin. You gotta hit them with some of that Stevie Wonder and Earth, Wind, and Fire, man, I'm telling you. And I could have done all of those things. But when you look at me, what do you see? You see all of those things. When you look at me, you don't see Frank Sinatra. And when you're in Hollywood, they have seen everything under the sun. So where's your wow factor if you walk in there and you sing it? If somebody like me walks in there and sings Stevie Wonder, where's the wow factor in that? You can find any black dude on the corner that can sing Stevie Wonder. Anywhere. I can find any dude in my neighborhood that can do the Temptations. All the parts. Like each part. Like I'm serious. I mean, we used to walk down the street and sing these songs like it was second nature. All the Jodeci songs, all of that stuff. And it was just like
Michael Jackson.
Right. But anytime I stepped out of that box, that's when everything around me started to change. It was always a different vibe, a different feeling. It was nothing negative. And I loved that feeling. And so I stuck with it. And like I said, they were so mad, man. Like a lot of my male cousins and uncle, and stuff like that, they were like, man, you crazy, man. You better not go on TV singing no Frank Sinatra. And I'm like, you'll see, watch. And then when I done it, they was like, man, I can't believe it, man. Man, you killed that, man. I'm telling you, cousin, bro. Man, I ain't had to work in a week. My boss loves you so much. I'm like, you know, people are calling me from prison, man. Like, man, we got to stay out ourselves. I'm like, what? This changed everybody, not just me. It changed everything around me. Like everybody, like all these people that I didn't even think was gonna affect, man. My cousins and my aunties and my uncles and friends, people that I hadn't seen in 15, 20 years are calling me like, man, my boss love you so much, bro. I ain't have to work for the whole time you was on this show. I was just sitting in his office and watched that show with him drinking beer. I was like, what? He was like, I'm telling you, man, he would keep me on the clock and let me watch you do that because I knew you. And people would call me on the phone like, hey, man, tell him you my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get on the phone like, yeah, I'm his cousin. All right, yeah, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it was. And it's still like that to this day. It hasn't even changed. It hasn't stopped. It hasn't slowed down. People still call me right now from overseas or in the military or from prison or everything. Like, man, tell him you my cousin, man. My foreman loves you, bro. My warden loves you, man. Can you send me a picture up here? I can send pictures to the prison and sign CDs and send them off to the, you know, to the warden so they can get their time cut.
Well, I
And
have
get an
to
extra
make an
biscuit.
announcement. I did some deep research, and I think we're cousins.
Yeah, yeah.
Masters and Murphy. It's the
That's
Irish
right.
thing. It's that
God
Irish
damn.
thing.
How did I affect your life? But that's what it's done, man. And it's a beautiful thing. And then getting back to, you know, going when the pandemic hit, I went back to school and I came up with this slogan called "It's never too late to graduate." And this slogan now is on the back of your Kroger's receipts, Dollar General, some CVS, and then they put billboards all across the state. And there's people calling me from I mean, sending me texts on social media from Iowa, place that I've never even been. That's one of the states that I've never been to in the United States of America. But my face is on the back of their receipt when they go to the grocery store. It's like this. Never too late to graduate. You know, this and
That's
it's
it.
weird because they'll have it in their passenger seat, like, look, I'm riding Landau. It's never too late to graduate. I watched him on America's Got Talent. This is the best act that's ever been on America's Got Talent and all this stuff, you know. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm encouraging a whole lot of people to go back to school, you know, kill that stigma of embarrassment. I mean, who cares? If it doesn't put food on your table, or keep you warm at night, or shelter over your head, it does not matter. It really doesn't matter. Nothing. Nothing. Not the shoes, not the clothes, not the chains. None of this stuff matters if it doesn't take care of you. If it doesn't wake you up every day, keep you happy, keep you whistling, keep your family and your friends well taken care of. Anything else is just, it doesn't even matter. And we get caught up in these things of, you know, being embarrassed or I don't want to be a punk or yeah, I didn't do it like that, but I can do it like this. And I learned how to do it my way. That's the, you know, no pun intended, but I did it my way. I wasn't supposed to graduate at that time. Maybe God had another whole plan for me to go through this. Because think about it. Some of the people that I know that graduated right now are on Skid Row.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, they ain't got the life that I have. And I'm like, this person was valedictorian in high school. But where did he go wrong at? Was it not his mom wasn't strict as my mom? Or did he get everything handed to him so easy, you know, that he just blew it? Everything that I've gotten was difficult. I've never got nothing easy. Nothing. So it's just like I love everything that I've
Yeah.
earned because I actually earned it. I grinded.
Right.
No one's handed me anything. And I was laughed at, I was ridiculed, I was picked on, I was bullied. And through all of that, it just made me stronger. It made me so strong. And nothing can hurt me now. It's like, You can say what you want to say. You can do what you want to do. I can just turn the cheek and go the other way. I can get right out of my car. I don't got time to sit here and argue with you or talk about anything negative. If you don't have nothing positive to say around me or with me or talk about that's going to elevate me or elevate you or elevate us, what are we talking about?
Good way to think.
Right, because if you go on YouTube right now, and the first things pop up is arguments. It's all arguments. People arguing about religion, politics.
Right, I know.
And the content don't even make sense no more. It's just I'm just like, why are people waking up thinking like this?
Do you know how hard it is to do a series like this when you have all that other crap on YouTube?
Yeah.
That gets all that attention, and you got to sort of, here we're doing something good and everything and fun and easy and free flowing. And you got all that other garbage that's on YouTube that people sift through, people yelling and fights in supermarkets and French fries being thrown in McDonald's and all that other stuff. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
First, really that stuff happens, and really, you really want to watch that?
Right. And I'm tired of it. I'm like so tired of, like, I go through YouTube now and just like, oh my gosh, I can't even, it's nothing. So I got to go to cat videos. I go to like watching cats, you know.
Right. And of course, the Jim Masters show too, of course.
Yeah, I'll go to
You're always here. I mean, we see you all the time, Lando.
Yes.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Right. But I also go to, like, you know, the cat videos where they have the GoPro on the animals. Like, I always wonder what my cat does when I let him outside.
That is kind of cool, isn't it?
Right. So I watch all that stuff.
You feel like you're living the life of the cat now. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a GoPro on my cat, so when it goes outside, I can watch wherever he's doing. It's like, and it's amazing stuff. I've seen him kill chipmunks and squirrels. I was like, what?
Or when the cats are fighting each other.
Yeah. I like the one where they were like,
yeah, there's always the one, right?
One spot, like, oh my God.
So for the people watching who don't know, I know we talked about the last time, but maybe a brief recap of how the whole America's Got Talent thing even came your way, the opportunity, and how you even got involved in it, and then winning it, taking the whole thing home, a champion of season 6. How did that opportunity even come your way?
That was due to my Heavenly Father. And it's nothing else.
Good answer.
There's nothing else I can give that credit to. Like I said, everything was given to me in a rough way. But you have to learn what's best for you. You can take it in the worst way, or you can take it in a positive way. And you always have those two options. I always tell people this every day. You have the options. You have a choice. And the way this came to me was, I was going through a rough relationship. I was down and out. So I'm walking miles and taking these mining classes. I was about to go into the coal mines. And I'm claustrophobic, so I don't want to go into the coal mines. That's all that was there. It was either a gas station, Walmart, or the coal mines. That's where you're gonna, make your most money, or you're gonna be a street pharmacist. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I don't want any one of those, but the one thing that could get me out of the hole that I'm in is going to the coal mines and making that money, but I'm still claustrophobic. So I got my mining's card, and my girl had left me, and then it was just like, I was just down and out. And then her mother's husband passed away. So we moved out of the house that we were living in to actually spend time with her, because she was mourning the death of him. So we would spend most of our time with her. But while we were away, somebody went into our house and ripped all the copper out of the walls and took down my chandelier, stole all my clothes, TV, refrigerator, stove, living room set. They took everything from me. I had one total clothes left that I happened to just put in the closet. like a blue tote that I got from a Rubbermaid tote that I got from Walmart. I put like a couple pair of jeans and stuff, and they didn't take that. It's the only thing they didn't take. And the clothes that I had up at her mom's house. But that hurt me really bad. And I was hurt because at this same time, I'm working for Mike Furrow Toyota in Chapmanville, West Virginia. Plus, I had a blues soul band called Top Shelf that fell apart because of egos, like, and drugs. Like, my drummer was a pill head. He wanted to just take pills before every show. My guitar player was a rock devil. He was like a demon, but he drunk vodka and Red Bull, like, oh, and busted over his head. Nah, he was like, he was
That was
bugging out.
cool. Did you see what happened? That whole,
Yeah, I saw that.
as you were saying, a rock devil, all of a
Yeah, I
sudden,
saw all of that.
how the heck did your computer do that? That's cool. Does it follow whatever you say and then
I guess
creates?
it is. That's the background.
Wow. Oh
But
my
that's
God.
what he was bugged out, and
That was cool.
and like and so the guy who put the band together was actually my brother's cellmate in federal prison in I think it's Beckley or Kentucky. They were in federal prison together in Kentucky. So when I moved back to West Virginia, like I said, that whole drug thing, my little brother got caught up in that, which was what made me come here because I want to spend time with him before he went to prison. So once I got down here, I started doing that, and I started showing him what I was doing in Detroit, like in the bars, and then it started snowballing. People started to recognize me for, singing these songs and all that. But anyway, it got to the point where it all started to get bigger and bigger. And then once I got that band, when he was locked up, I was doing shows in Logan, West Virginia, and I was on the front of the newspaper like every week for the vaudeville shows, the weekend programs, which are programs to help send kids to summer camp and give them supplies for school and things like that. And I would do these shows. And while I was doing that, my brother and his cellmate, a guy by the name of Rick Lowe. Rick Lowe was like a rich kid that got caught up in the drug game. He didn't even have to be in it. He didn't have to do drugs. He didn't have to sell drugs. He didn't have to do none of it. I don't know why he did it. But he ended up going to federal prison with my little brother. And while they're in prison, Rick is collecting the Logan Banner, which is a newspaper from my hometown. And I'm on the front of it like this. And he used to always say, who is this guy always on the front page of the newspaper for singing Motown and Frank Sinatra? And he showed it to my little brother. My brother was like, oh, man, that's my brother, man. He was like, yeah, right, you don't know him. He's like, I promise you, I know him. When we get out, I'll introduce you to him. So Barack Obama comes in office. And now you got to understand that crime bill tore up a whole lot of black families, because like a person like me can get caught with a $50 rock. I get 25 to life. Now a person of your stature or your color, you can get caught with 15 keys of cocaine. You get an ankle bracelet. And that's what that did to our community. And so when my brother went to jail, he didn't go to jail for actually getting caught selling drugs. It was all what somebody said he sold. And he did 83 months in federal prison, along with Rick. But when Barack Obama came in office, he changed that. And if you didn't get caught with like a ton of drugs or anything, he cut your time. So he cut my brother's time, he cut Rick's time, and they got out in like 2008. And when he got out, my brother took me straight to Rick's house. Big, pretty, half mansion house. The garage looks like anybody's house. You know what I'm saying? Just the garage was a home itself. So he takes me in the garage and he says, I've been watching you. I got all these papers. And he takes me in the house and he says, look here, man. I've been collecting these things, man, since you've been singing and since I've been locked up. And he's got all these newspaper clippings of me. He was like, I tell you what, I think you're good enough and I want to put a band around you. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, that's what I've said. I want to start a band and you're going to be the front man. And I was like, okay. He was like, what all you sing? I was like, Motown, Temptations, whatever. And then he was like, yeah, that's all good. I want to do blues. Can you do blues and soul music? You know, Sam and Dave, and, you know, hold on, I'm coming, knock on wood. I was like, yeah. He's like, all right. And I was like, well, the reason you got those papers, though, is because of me singing Frank Sinatra. He was like, Frank Sinatra's dead. Nobody wants to hear that, man. I mean, that music is dead. And I was like, no, it's not. He was like, well, I know you like your Frank Sinatra, but just give me 1 year. 1 year of you doing blues and soul music, and if it doesn't work, hey, we'll go and do whatever you want to do. And I was like, all right, I'll give you 1 year. So we put this band together. I'm the only colored man in the band. There's all these rednecks around me, like seriously. Like one of them was actually like a racist, like a real racist. My bass player was a racist. He would always be red and looking at me, mean mugging me on stage. I'm like, we on the same team. We on the same team, but he wanted his son to be the front man. But his son couldn't sing as good as me. And Rick would always tell me, hey, if your son could sing as good as Landau, hey, we'll bring him in the band. But can he sing as good as Landau? He couldn't. So he put me as the front guy. And he came to me and said, what would you name a band if you had a band? And I sit for like a day and a half. And I just kept thinking. I was like, I want to be the best band, so you got to be, I was like, top shelf. You know, like the best alcohol is top shelf. The best everything is top shelf, you know? So I was like, top shelf, that's it. And he was like, all right. He went and got the logos, t-shirts. He bought a big hauler, put the logo on the side of it, bought all the studio equipment, the drums, the guitar, bass, keyboards, everything. He built a studio in that garage that looked like a house. He built a whole studio, soundproofed it all for me. And I sit in there and I sung all these songs for him like over and over and over and getting it all to the point where we made a demo. We made a CD demo of all these songs. And he started promoting. This is when MySpace was jumping. At this time, I had a page on MySpace that was all about hip hop. I was doing rap, you know, but every time I would do a rap show, like I said, it was fighting a parking lot or something. And I hated that. I hated after the show, somebody getting shot at or somebody getting beat up in the lobby. Or I hated that environment. So I was just like, I don't want to do that no more. I started doing this stuff with him. And so it started snowballing. We started getting this huge following. Now, remind you, the bass player is like a racist. He doesn't like me at all. He don't like my color. He don't like my height. He don't like my hair. Nothing about me. And he's like, and he's running the MySpace page. And I kept telling Rick, I was like, get those passwords from Ralph. His name was Ralph. I ain't gonna say his last name, but his name was Ralph. I was like, get those passwords from Ralph, because if y'all ever fall out, he's gonna delete everything that we got. And our following got huge on MySpace. Started getting to the point where we was doing shows in Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, and we're based in West Virginia, so that's right around, you know, the tri-states. And it started like expanding out. We started getting messages from people from California and New York and things like that, and inviting us to these fairs and these events. And I was like, yeah, this is actually working. But like I said, my drummer was always, sometimes we would do a show and my drummer would be passed out in the bathroom. So I have to go out in the audience like, anybody know how to play the drums? And some guy be like, I know how to play the drums. And I bring him up on stage. And then halfway through the set, my guy would come stumbling out of the bathroom like, hey, man, who's that on my drum set? And I'm like, oh, gosh. Like, this is not happening. My guitar player, he was actually in prison with my little brother and Rick too, the guitar player. His name is Mark. I'm not gonna give his last name, but he loved bath salts. So he would take bath salts, you know, and then he would take a Red Bull. He would take Red Bull and vodka, and then he would bug out. You know what I'm saying? Then he was so good on the guitar, but he wouldn't leave the stuff alone. And my drummer was great. All of them were so good, but they all had those little things. The only people that didn't have those stigmas was me and Rick. Rick cleaned his life up. His parents left him everything. When he got out of prison, he had that whole mansion. He had grocery stores and properties and condos and everything. Jaguars, Mercedes-Benz, SUVs, everything that he could ever want. So I was like, man, if you ever touch a piece of drugs again, I'll kill you myself. He's like, I swear, man, I'll never do it again. And he never did. And then we started growing. Everything started going. And then Ralph, the bass player, was mad at Rick for not giving him a loan of $20,000 or $47,000. He came to him and was like, look, Rick, me and my wife want to buy a house. And we're kind of shy, man. We need about $47,000. And then Rick come to me like, Landau, what do you think, man? Ralph was asking me for $47,000, man. I was like, how long have you known Ralph? It's like about 20 years or so, maybe 15 years. I was like, is he your friend? He was like, yeah. I was like, you love him? He loved you? He was like, yeah. I was like, don't give him that money. I was like, you can't give him that money. He'll never give you that money back because he's your friend. He's never going to give you that money back. If he's asking you for $47,000, what makes you think he's going to pay you $47,000 back? He's not. He's not going to give it back. So Rick says, are you serious? I was like, I'm telling you, don't give him that money. Don't give him that money. So he goes back to Ralph. He says, Ralph, I can't do it. And Ralph says, F you, you MFer, and you think I'm going to be your B for all this time playing the bass for that black D, blah, blah, blah. You know, he goes off on him, man. Calling me all kind of names, everything. He deletes the MySpace page. He leaves the band. And we're just down to nothing again. I was just like, oh, man, all this traction is gone. So I'm sitting there.
But look at MySpace now.
Yeah, it's all gone. So I was just like, oh, my God. I just built all of this for the last year and a half. And I go to Rick. I was like, man, I think I'm going to go back to my one-man show. I can't deal with these egos. He's like, man, just give me a little bit more time. I'll fix it. I was like, you can't. It's gone. Like, all the footage is gone. Every video, all the fan stuff, it's all, he deleted it all. I was like, no, it's like starting all over again. And he was like, yeah, you're kind of right, well, what do you have in mind? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm going to start doing my one-man shows again. So I started doing my one-man shows. While I'm doing my one-man show, somebody breaks in my house, steals all the copyright laws of my furniture, everything. And I'm steaming because I'm doing stuff for the community. And I'm like, why would anybody want to rob me? Why? Out of all the people and drug dealers and everything, criminals around here that you can rob, why would you rob me? Like, and so I'm hurt. I'm sitting on my mom's bed. I'm mad. I'm crying. I got tears of anger coming out my face, and I can't even stop it. I was like, okay. And then I got these two little voices. One's an angel. One is bad. He's terrible over here. And he's like, hey, I know what we can do. We're going to rob every drug dealer that comes to Logan County. Who are they going to tell? Can they call the police on you? Nope. Can't tell the police. They got guns, though. Well, I got guns, too. But then that angel was like, no, that's not the right way to go. You're going to end up dead or in jail. And you already see what that's like. So I tell you what, all you need is a bigger stage. And I stopped and I was like, bigger stage? Like, what is the bigger stage? I've been on the bigger stage with Top Shelf, and that fell apart. And then it was just like, no, you just need a bigger stage. And right at that moment, the TV in my mom's room went to a commercial, and it was Howie Mandel. Are you the next one of America's Got Talent? Do you have what it takes to headline your own show in Vegas? Are you our next $1 million prize winner? I am talking to you. And when he pointed at that screen, I swear on everything I love, he was talking to me. And I got chills over my body. My tears dried up, and I said, that's it. I was like, I don't have nothing to lose. They done stole everything from me. My band's gone. I don't have nothing. I got everything to gain from this point. It's nothing but up from here. And I was like, even if I go on TV and don't win a show, I'm still on TV. I can go sing in a restaurant. I can go sing on a cruise ship. Somebody will call my phone to make a song, collaboration or anything, a record label, something's going to jump from this. I was like, all I got to do is go on television and not make a fool out of myself. Because I'm from West Virginia. I'm black. You know, I'm singing Frank Sinatra. So they could have twisted that in so many ways and made me look like, you know. And I was like, if I can go on that show and not, you know, be stereotyped and not make a fool out of me and my home state, I could change my life forever. And that's when I started thinking like, okay, what am I going to sing? And I was like, I'm going to do Frank Sinatra. And then I told my, you know, my cousins, they were like, boy, you better not go on TV singing no Frank Sinatra. So I went on TV anyway. I saved up all the car wash money from Mike Furrow. I went to New York. I stood in line from 5:47 a.m. to like maybe like 6 p.m. just to get into the Jacob Javits Center.
Wow.
Just to get into the building to audition. That's how long I was like, I had to be like at least 9 blocks away from the building in a line, just trying to get in the building. And then once I got up to the building, I see Nick Cannon. And I see the boom, the camera crew and everything. They filming stuff up there. They doing like all these B-roll stuff. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I just seen filming and stuff. And I'm like, wow, if I can just get it, if I make it in that door, I'm not looking back. If I could just get in that door. And then when I finally got up there, I kept going. I got to that door. And then when I got in the building, there's more lines. I was like, what? It was like more roped off lines. And I'm like, oh my God. So by the time I got to my audition in front of, you know, the behind the scenes people, this ain't even the celebrity judges. This is the people that's screening you and getting you, making sure you're ready for the show or you can be on the show. So I go in this room, they separate me and other players. Like if you were a fire breather, you're in the dangerous part, so you'd be over in that room. If you were a singer with an instrument, you'd be in this room. If you were a group, you would be in this room. If you were acrobatics, you'd be over there with the dangerous acts, or you know, if you were comedy, you'd be with the comedians and stuff like that. But I was a solo singer, so they put me in a room with all the solo artist singers. And I'm sitting there like, wow, and I walk in this room and I sit in the first chair when you first walk in the door because I thought by the desk being up at front where the X is and the judges, they were going to start at that first chair and then come down to me. But instead, they called me first. Like, hey, how are you doing? Come on up. And I was like, oh, and I came up and I read the contract. I done talked to my friend lawyer from the vaudeville shows and the weekend programs, a guy named Robert Noon. He was a lawyer, so we done went over the contract, and they said in there you can bring a 90-second instrumental of whatever song you're going to sing. And so I brought that, and I was the only one that brought it. And when I went up to the desk, I handed it to him. They was like, oh, yeah, you read the contract, huh? So I'm so sorry. We don't have a sound system in here right now, but we will get that. We'll just let us get these people through and we'll get that sound system in here. And so I'm like, yes, cool. So now I get to sit down and I get to watch. I get to watch all of these acts before me and see what they have. And I'm like, okay, I get to watch. And I watch everybody one by one come up, stand on this X, stand in front of those judges and blow it. Like, literally blow it. Like, to the point of that. They had the voice. They maybe even had the look, but they didn't have stage presence. They were shy and timid. Everybody was like this one girl got up there, had this strong voice. And when I heard her singing in the hallway, I was like, whoa, this girl can blow. But when she got in that room in front of those people, she shied up. And she was singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I never forget that she was like, hi, my name is Shaniqua, and I'm going to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. She got up there, she was like, somewhere over the rainbow. You know, just scared. Like, couldn't keep her hands out of her pockets and all of that stuff. And And I'm sitting there like, I was like, that's what they don't have. They don't have a showmanship. And I was like, I have that because of Top Shelf, because of Mud Fork, West Virginia, because of Ralph, because of Top Shelf, because of all of this. I'm already there. I'm already groomed for this. I can go up there and entertain these judges. And that's what I'm going to do when I get on that X. So I watched everybody do it, and I'm sitting there just watching them like, ooh, I can't wait to get there when I get my chance. So I get up. But first they called me. They was like, okay, the next person is Landau. How do you say that? I was like, Landau Eugene Murphy Jr. They was like, okay, yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. You had instrumental of your song. We still didn't get that sound system. And I was like, don't worry about it. I'll do it Acapulco. And when I said Acapulco, everybody in the room started laughing because it's acapella. You know what I mean? So everybody starts laughing. And then I get on the X, they was like, oh, aren't you a big bundle of joy? We've been here all day and you got the jokes. So great. You know, they're all British. So I'm trying to do my best British accent right now. So I get up there, and as soon as it started, it was like, okay, take it away. And I was like, I would sacrifice anything come what might for the sake of having you near in spite of a warning voice. Comes in the night and repeats how it yells in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, you never can win. Why not use your mentality? Get up, wake up to reality. And each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin. Because I've got you. And by the time I got to the end, everybody in the room was dancing. All the other contestants, the judges was dancing. Everybody. And then when I finished, they was like, what in the bloody hell was that? Where did you come from? Oh my God, you come in here, we don't know what's going on, and you walk up here and you blow us away like that. Oh my God. Is that your real voice? And I was like, yes. And they was like, no way. No way. I tell you what we're going to do is we want you to go out in the hallway. We're going to sit down in the hallway. And we're going to run the rest of these people through here, and then we're going to send you down to the producer's room. You're going to go, and it's going to be the America's Got Talent sign, and there's going to be the big real X on the floor, and it's going to be dark, and big lights are going to be shining on you. And there's going to be a cone microphone at the front of the stage, and what I want you to do is sing as loud as you possibly can. And if you do exactly what you've done for us in here, they're going to love you in there. I was like, I won't let you down. Just give me a shot. He was like, whoa. So we're leaving that thing, and he was like, okay, thanks everybody for coming out. If you don't get a call by May, you don't make it on the show. And if so, you'll have a ticket waiting for you in your email, and you can get on the plane and come to wherever you're going to audition again. You know, and I was just like, whoa. So I'm leaving out the room, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't even know if that was real. And I didn't come all this way for them to say that to me. I want to know if I'm going to be on the show or not. So I'm leaving out the room when all the rest of the contestants were walking out. They're all patting me on the back. And I'm like, nah, man, this don't feel right. So I started singing Wet Willie, Countryside of Life. You can have your business on your heavy arithmetic. I don't need no crowded streets, some city sicker tricks. I just need to be someplace where I can move around. Look down at my toes and I can still see the ground. Give me that countryside life, a place where I can stretch out right. Give me the countryside life. And I started singing and they was like, oh my God, come back now. Come back in here right now. Get back over here right now. Oh my goodness, did you just do that? And I was like, yeah. He's like, what all can you sing? I was like, anything. I was like, just give me a shot, and I promise you I won't let y'all down. Just give me this shot. He was like, I'm telling you, just sit in the hallway. I tell you, like I said, just sit in the hallway, and we'll get right back to you. We have to run the rest of these people. That's like 9:30 at night, right? So all the people go through. I'm still sitting on the hallway. It's me and a rapper and this little kid that was like doing like Michael Jackson and stuff. Like a little bitty boy. He had to be about maybe 8, 7 or 8 years old, probably even younger, but he was really good. And they sit us there and we waited, and all those people went by and they started asking us questions. Why they got y'all sitting here? And we was like, well, I don't know. You know, I don't know. They see, you know, this guy came with a headphone set on and America's Got Talent jacket, and it said security on the back of his jacket or whatever. And he was like, come with me. He kept smiling at me like, hey, man, we heard about you. And I was like, how? I was just in this room. Like, they take me down to this room, me and those 2 other people, and I watched them do their thing. And then when I got up there, the lady was like, okay, what's your name and what you're going to do for us? She was blonde hair. I remember the lady who runs that whole show behind the scenes is blonde hair people. I think her name was Evie or something like that. But she was like, go ahead, start singing. We already heard about you. Let me hear this. And I started singing, and man, and she was just like, oh my God. You know what I want you to do? Stop. You know what I want you to do? I want you to go home, lock yourself in your room until we call you. You are amazing. I've never heard nothing like this before in my life. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, lock yourself in your room. Don't come out. Don't get a speeding ticket. Don't do a jaywalk. Nothing. Because on America's Got Talent, they check your past like 10 years prior. You can't have nothing on your record to be on that show. So they do a whole background check on your life. Luckily, mine was clean. You know what I'm saying? And so I go in there and I remember I went home. Well, first I went back to my hotel room, the Park Central Hotel. And I closed the door. And I was like, oh my God, you don't know what I just did. Oh my God. Did it just happen? Oh my God. I was like, oh my God. And then, you know, my cousin was with me and she was like, I don't believe, oh my God, you just did that. I was like, yeah, that just happened. And I was like, I can't wait to get home. But also in that contract, can't tell nobody what you did. You can't tell them anything. You got to keep your mouth shut. So I got to go home to Logan County, it's this big, and act like I didn't done something that was this big. So I'm walking through Walmart like, oh my God. I can't even tell nobody. I couldn't tell my mom. I couldn't tell nobody. And I was like, if you tell something, tell them to duck tuck you in the basement. You better not mess this up with me, cuz, or, you know, and my ex was with me at the time, and I was just like, y'all better not say nothing. Don't say nothing to nobody. And they kept it hush. And then they sent me that ticket to come back to the real audition. And this was at the Hamstein Theater in Manhattan. I stay at the Park Central Hotel again. I get to the Hamstein Theater. I'm in the green room with all the rest of the acts behind stage, just watching everybody go through their motions and everything. My producer never even came to see me. Everybody gets their own personal producer at the show, you know, but mine never even showed up. I never saw him. And I'm sitting there just watching everybody go through their routines with their producers. You know, watching this over here, watch this girl do hula hoops, watch this guy swallowing fire, some guy picking up bowling balls with his eyelids. I mean, just all this weird stuff going on in this room. Listen to this girl over singing with her acoustic guitar. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. Next thing you know, I'm sitting there and it's getting later and later. Now it's like, again, like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I was like, I think this is as far as I'm going to go. It's like, man. Now I'm starting thinking in the back of my mind, like, what are they going to do with that footage of me singing? Are they going to try to make fun of me? Why aren't they letting me audition for this part? And then the guy comes out of nowhere like, hey, here's your microphone. Yeah, we're sorry, so everything's running behind, man. We had to get the rest of these people through, but you're going to be the last person. I was like, whoa. I grabbed the microphone. I stuck it in my pocket, in my jacket pocket. And I sit there. I was like, whoa. I grabbed some room temperature water, one of them little water bottles. I grabbed that and I started drinking it. I'm groveling backstage, and I grabbed some big red chewing gum out of my pocket. I put it in my mouth just to keep my voice moist. You know what I'm saying? Everything moist. Just like, wow. And then Nick Cannon comes out of nowhere, just with like a green, tight, striped gold suit on. Like it was a weird suit. But he walks up and he's like, yeah, he comes back and I was just looking at him like, why is he dressed like that? He had these long leprechaun shoes on with studs all on them. But that's Nick Cannon, man. He got his own little style. So he walks up and he was like, hey, man, what's up? Y'all ready to do your thing? I was like, yeah. Then he went on to his dressing room. He went past us and went up these steps and went to his dressing room. Then he came down with another suit on. It was better than the one he left with. Come back. He said, you ready? You sure you ready to do your thing? I was like, yeah. He shook my hand like this. I was like, and then he walked off. I was like, oh my God. Like, that's Nick Cannon, bro. Like, he just talked to me like he's known me my whole life. That's cool. So I was like, I just realized how down to earth he was at that moment. I was like, wow, that's cool. So I'm sitting there like, okay, what's going on? So the Smaji brothers are on stage doing their little motorcycle trick, and they got to let the smoke clear out and everything. Then they was like, all right, now you're up. And I got this gum in my mouth. But at the time, I had like a partial. So I was actually going to use the gum to hold my partial in. Because I didn't want to get on stage and be like, I didn't mind my tooth fall out. You're right. That's the moment I didn't want to happen. I was like, oh, what's she gonna kill me, man? You know, because that's something that we just didn't want to happen. So I got this gum in my mouth, and I was like, well, I can't really sing with this. But I've sung with gum in my mouth, but I'm like, if they see it, and I was like, forget it, I'll just spit it out. And right before you walk out on stage, there's a velvet curtain. Nick Cannon is standing there with his camera crew, and there's a garbage can. So I was like, when I walk up to talk to Nick, I'll spit the gum out, and I'll talk to Nick, and then I'll go out on stage. But when he said, all right, you're up, I walked straight past Nick Cannon, the garbage can. I walked all the way out on stage, and I'm waving at the audience. They all laughing like, oh. You know, they like, some people were clapping and everything, and I'm just like, and then Sharon Osbourne was like, no, you have to talk to Nick first. Go back, you have to talk to Nick. So I was like, oh yeah. So I walked back on the stage, the audience is still laughing. You can hear the little chatter in the audience. And that's when you see me coming back and say, what's up, Nick? And I was coming back to Nick off the stage. That's when we shake hands. I was like, what's up, Nick? And he was like, what's up? You ready to do your thing? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right. He patted me on the back. And I went back out there. And then the audience did the bigger round of applause thing. And I sit there and I seen Howie. Because I didn't know what I was going to say when I first walked out. I was like, what do I say when I first walked out on stage? I never, I don't know, where's the conversation going to come from? What's going to happen? I just stand there and look like this in silence until they say something? But when I walked out, I seen Howie, and Howie is from our childhood. It's from, Fraggle Rock. He's from the Muppets and Bobby's World and all these things that I already know him from. And I knew Howie when he had the curly, Lionel Richie thing, when he would put the glove on his head and blow it up and make the fingers jump up, the surgical glove. And he had the long jacket like Gallagher, the black trench coat. I remember that Howie, and from St. Elsewhere and all of that. So as soon as I saw him, I just went straight for him. I was like, what's up, Howie, man? And he was like, hey. He's just like, and I was just like, yeah, I love you, bro. You cool, man. I watched you on everything, man. And I did the whole, my name is Bobby. And then the whole audience, that just released all the tension in the room. As soon as I did that, Howie laughed, Shannon Osbourne laughed, even Piers Morgan had to just smirk like, he's the tight one. So it was hard to break him. But I remember looking at him and he broke. And I was just like, yeah. And then they was asking me questions. And while they're asking me questions, I start chewing the gum. I was supposed to just hold my brushing, but I took it out with my tongue. I'm chewing it like, yeah, man. I love you, Al, And then it was like, are you chewing gum? And I ignored her. The first person who said that was Sharon Osbourne. She's like, are you chewing gum? And I just ignored it, and I kept doing my thing. And it was like, well, where are you from? And then Piers Morgan said, well, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from Logan, West Virginia. You know, what do you do for a living? I recently washing cars, but you know, I come to New York to follow my dream. But you see, when they edit, they cut that part. I said a whole lot more after that, but they, you know, for television, they edited all of that. So it just goes from I'm coming in, I don't want to follow my dream, so it cuts. So they don't let you hear everything that I said. But at that moment, and then Pierce Morgan was like, "Are you chewing gum?" And I was like, "Yeah, you want me to take it out?" He was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't do that if I were you." So I just took it out. I was in my mind though. I was like, you know, but I know I'm representing West Virginia. We already got these stereotypes, you know. Since I was like, I can't spit the gum out. I can't walk off the stage because now that's a whole nother walk off moment again. I was like, what do I do? So right in that moment, my mom was like, take it out, put it in your pocket, man. You might get a chuckle. So I took it out, stuck it in my pocket. When I stuck it in my pocket, I had a $10 bill in my pocket. It went down in the $10 bill like this. And it in the fold. So it stuck to that $10 bill, never stuck to my jeans. Just in my pocket. And then I looked at Nick, and Nick was like, and then he pointed at the sound man. The sound man started to track because I figured they was just gonna go bang, you know, right at that moment. I'm like, they're about to give me an X, and I ain't even got started because Pierce Morgan was sitting there tapping his pen. He was already like disgusted of me for some reason. It's like he already pictured me blowing this whole moment, and so I'm just like, okay. And then once he said go, because they don't give you a mic check. You don't get to check your wedges. You don't know how it's going to sound. But experience, my friend. Experience. The whole thing with Top Shelf, the vaudeville shows, doing things in the community, the Paul Steele moment, all that stuff got me ready. I knew dynamics. So I knew how to put the mic closer to my mouth, or I knew how to move it away when I wanted to hit my powerful notes where it didn't, you know, mess up the whole quality of the sound. And even if they didn't put reverb on my voice, I knew how to make my voice tremble where it sounded like I had reverb on it. But I didn't know if they had it on there or not. I just had to hear the first note. But as soon as the track started, it's like, I would sacrifice anything come what might for the sake of having. And when that started and I started singing, the audience got so loud. It was like, it was like this whole roar went through the whole theater. And I couldn't hear myself singing no more. It was like it was singing in my, it's like somebody put earplugs in my ears. And all I can hear myself in my chest like, that's all I could hear was like muffled. I was just like, and in the back of my mind while I'm going through the song, I'm just, don't forget the word, just keep singing, just keep singing, just keep singing. And I just kept singing. And I remember it got to the last note. I was like, under my skin. My pinky was like, beep. And then the whole audience just jumped up and they was crying and screaming. They was trying to get to the stage, and Sharon was trying to calm everybody down. And I'm just pacing like, what just happened? Like, so it's like kind of like this outer body experience. It was like I was watching myself do it, but I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear anything. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what it was, but I just know it's something I've never experienced in my life. It was like I could hear a mumble of me singing, and I could see myself doing it, but it was like I wasn't there. And so I'm like, and then it all just came back like, and this whole audience is screaming. I'm just like, whoa. And now everything from my past is coming like, you ain't gonna never make it. You can't do this. You suck. You never gonna be a singer. You're never gonna be famous. You're not making it to the NBA. You're not a good basketball player. You're not a good dancer. I can do this better than you. And all this stuff started hitting me all at once, and they're trying to talk to me. And that's when I started crying. Because now I'm like, all these people were wrong, and I was listening to them. And it took me to hit rock bottom to actually follow my dream. I had to fall flat on my face. Somebody robbed me, took everything, homelessness, all this. It was like a fire lit up under me and stung me like, oh, okay, get up, you know? And that's what pushed me to America's Got Talent. So that's how I went on that stage. That's what changed my whole life. A downfall changed my whole life. It picked me all the way back up. And now I'm here. I done traveled the world. I've been to Dubai, Germany, China, Japan, just everywhere, man. And places that I never thought I would ever see. Just about all 50 states except for Hawaii, Iowa, Montana, um, Alaska. So yeah, Alaska, Hawaii, Montana, Iowa, and there's one more I haven't been to, and I can't remember what it is. I think it's
Idaho
maybe.
or
Oh, I went to Idaho. It was Wyoming.
Utah,
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
I've never been in it. So it's only 5 states that I've never been in the United States of America. And I'm from West Virginia. I never thought I would, see all of this stuff and do all the things that I've done and change people's lives. There's kids now. I just went to a wedding day before yesterday with my girlfriend and her family member was getting married to this guy who was actually from my hometown. And when I get there, he didn't know I'm at his wedding, but he's just like, he was like, Landau, man, I watched you when I was in grade school, man. My grandmother loved you, man, and you changed our whole lives, man, forever with that whole thing. And he was like so proud to say that to me. And I still get all these fantastic moments and these memories with all these fans. I'm still not on drugs, still not alcoholic, still doing all these things sober, drinking lemonade, you know what I'm saying? And so I remember everything. I may not remember your name, but I remember your face. I can remember where I met you at, but I might not remember your name. But I remember your face. I remember where I met you at. I remember when I signed that autograph for you. So, and when all the managers came and all of them, I seen some like William Morrison Group. They wanted me to sprint. They wanted me to sprint through everything. Sony Records, they all wanted that sprint. And I'm like, no, I want to remember this. Because I remember when I was talking to the famous people like Patti LaBelle or, Jerry Springer and, the Doobie Brothers or anybody that I had been around in those times, I would always ask them what it was like then. And they would always say to me, I don't remember. I was partying so much, I don't remember. Like, my first manager was Peter Rudge. This is the manager of The Who, The Beatles, Rolling Stones. He managed all of these groups, and he's a British guy. And he's like, oh, you're going to make a lot of money. I'm like, well, what was it like being around The Who and, and the Rolling Stones and all that? And he was like, I can't even tell you, man. I drunk so much and partied so hard. It's all a blur. And I was just devastated because I'm like, you're an almanac for people like me. Like, I need that knowledge so I know what to do and what not to do in this industry. But you're nothing to me now because you can't even give me a story. You can't even give me something that's going to keep me or sustain me in this career. Or you just want to see me fall like everybody else? You want me to go the Michael Jackson route or, the drug addict route or, any of these other people that we've put on these pedestals and they just fall from grace because of drugs or alcohol or depression. I don't want to be that. I want to be happy every day. I want everybody around me happy. If we can't do that, it's not worth it. If I can't go on stage and entertain you, entertain myself, and then go back to my room and relax and go, oh my God, that was a fun show. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. If it's going to make me depressed or makes people around me unhappy or make them act violent. So even when I write my music, I write it out of love and honesty and compassion and trust and all those things. And so it's just like, that's what that music does for me. That's what that whole genre of music does for me, those crooner classics. It always broke down those stereotypes and those, that stigma of, oh, just this is what you come from. I notice when I get on stage, my color and nothing where I come from, it doesn't even matter in that room. And most of those people never probably even see a person like me until those moments. And then when they do, they're like, wow, never knew that. So they'll come to me and they'll hug me, they'll pray with me. They put their hands on my head and they pray with me like all these older women, black, white, Korean, doesn't matter. They all put their hand on my head and they pray for me. Lord, Heavenly Father, protect this young man as he go through this journey. And it fills your heart with all this joy because you feel all this love around you. And it doesn't even stop there. They sending you emails. They sending you, fan mail. And then you sit in your room and you respond to this stuff, and then it's changed their whole life forever. And then you go on their social media and you see them doing something, and you see your picture on their wall, or that letter that you wrote with them in a frame or in a shadow box, and you're like, wow. And then there's like a lady that I had, like a super fan. She was like 97 years old. She passed away at like 101. But she wrote me in her will. She left me all her old music, like Ella Fitzgerald, all that old Frank Sinatra stuff. I got that album from the Sands, Frank Sinatra from the Sands, Count Basie albums, like all this stuff. She sent it, or her granddaughter sent it all to me with a letter. It's like, my grandmother wanted you to have this. And I was like, yeah, I remember that lady coming through my line. Because she was, at the time, she was in a wheelchair, and I pulled her to the front of the line because she was going to sit in the line, one person after another until she got up to the line. I was like, no, I'll bring her to the front. And I signed the stuff for her. She was like, young man, you are amazing. And I'm going to leave you in my will. I'm going to leave you something very special. I didn't know what she was saying. I didn't know what it was. I knew what she was saying, but I didn't know what it was. But that's what it was. She left me a whole big tub full of all her old music, old albums, everything. So that's what, my life has been like since America Got Talent. And it was like that even before. I remember coming home from Redford High School. It was like 92 degrees outside. I had on an AJ, the denim top and bottom, like the jeans and the jacket. I had that on. I remember that day, and I was fly. I just knew I was the man. But I'm walking home from school. It's hot. And I got my backpack with all my school books in it. And now I'm getting closer to the elementary school, which was harder when I was walking from Redford High School to down Burt Road to middle school, which is the middle school that I went to before I went to high school. And before I got to the middle school, I see something laying on the sidewalk. And I was just like, what is that? And the closer I get to it, it's an old lady. She's laying there in her duster, and she's holding on to the fence, like trying to pull herself up, but she keeps like painting and passing out. It's so hot. She was trying to get to the recreation center across the street from the middle school, where she goes to play chess and bridge with her friends, her elderly friends, in the community. And so I'm walking, and I get close to her, and I'm looking, and I see traffic. They're slowing down, but nobody's stopping to pick this lady up. And I get to her with my backpack, and I look down at her. She's got her purse beside her. She's in like a duster, like one of those granny dusters. She doesn't have like real clothes on. So I'm like, what do I do? I'm a black kid in this community. I don't know if I should touch this elderly white woman right now. I'm walking with my backpack, and I'm looking around like somebody come help this. And I was like, all she has is me. So I put my backpack on tighter. I grabbed her purse and I put it on her stomach. And I picked her up. I picked this old lady up, and she's like dead weight. Like, I'm in the 10th grade at the time. She's dead weight, and I'm 115 pounds, I would say. You know what I'm saying? And I'm carrying this lady, and then she woke up, and I was like, man, where are you trying? She was like, I need to go to the center. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I looked down the street. I was like, the center across the street, middle school. She was like, yes, thank you so much. And then she passed out. And I'm like, oh, God. Like, no, don't wake up, wake up, wake up. And then she would wake up, and then she would clutch her purse at me like she was shocked that I had her. And then she would fall back to sleep, and then she would wake up and say good things to me. And then she would go back to sleep, and then she would wake up again and be shocked that I had her again. Like, it was like she kept going in and out. Like, this lady had to be like, she's probably like 96, 91, something like that. She kept going in and out of her mind. and I'm carrying her. And when I get to the corner where my elementary school is, all the students are in the window like, yay! They all clapping. My old teachers and all of them rush out of school. They was like, Eugene, where did you get this lady from? I was like, from there. He's like, you carried that lady home? I was like, yeah. They was like, you always been so nice. Like, your mom has to be so proud of you. Why are you so nice to her? I was like, well, she was right there learning on the sidewalk. People are just passing her. And by this time, they done called the people and they bring out a wheelchair. I put her in the wheelchair. The people hugged me. And then the whole school was like hanging out the window clapping. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, wow, that is my life. Like all the time. It's always been like that. Dancing in the circle and, everybody surrounding me and I'm doing the Michael Jackson or, the latest pop rock move or break dancing or anything. I've always been on that stage and I never knew when it was going to happen, how it was going to happen, but I knew I was going to be something. I always dreamed big. I always thought I was going to the NBA. Because I was dunking from the free throw line in the 9th grade. And that's not even a joke. That's not even bragging or anything. Like I was dunking from the free throw line. And I grew up watching, people like Chris Webber go to the NBA. He was, his dad was my deacon at Rosedale Park Baptist Church, and I used to watch Chris Webber and his brothers and Roshan Leonard and Sean Rashford, all these guys. Sean Rashford played for the Miami Heat, but Sean Leonard played for, I think, the Boston Celtics. Chris Webber ended up getting drafted to the Golden State Warriors and then later on the Sacramento Kings and all that. So I got to watch all that, but I was always in that circle. I was always this close to fame or success or stardom. And I think it was all because I always treated people the way that I wanted to be treated. And so you see that today.
The golden rule.
Right. When I do my shows, I'm the first person in the building. I'm the last person to leave. Because if I ever met Michael Jordan, I done bought every pair of shoes this man has. My closet is full of these. Full of them, man. It's full of it, And these are the top dogs, right? This is suede, baby. And I got all like Michael Jordan stuff, but I never met him. I remember in middle school, I was taking home economics, and I didn't like to cook, but I loved to sew and I loved to draw. So I would make like big rugs for my teacher and stuff like that. And then she asked me one day, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to do a picture of Michael Jordan dunking on somebody, but I want to sew it. I don't want to draw it. She was like, well, here. She gave me this little thing, like with all these squares and hooks, like plastic. I don't know what it was called. I don't know what it's called. It was like a mesh. And I drew the drawing, and I sit there and just drew this drawing through this whole thing. And then she gave me all the yarn and stuff, and I stitched it all up. And I wrote this long letter to Michael Jordan. And I sent it to Michael Jordan. And I never got a response. And to this day, I always wondered if he got that and he responded and she just kept it. She was just like, she was a bigger Michael Jordan fan than me. So I think he actually,
Michael, can you step in the room now? Or
yeah. I actually believe that Michael Jordan was not that cold-hearted to not respond to me at that time. Or he might have been just too busy. But even Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, Prince, all these people that I looked up to, I've always said if I ever meet them, I hope that they're nice to me. If I ever get into that position, I'm going to treat them the same way that I want them to treat me. So that's what I do now.
I would imagine you also wish that you met Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, Sammy Davis Jr.,
all of them.
Gregory Hines, incredible
Marvin
people.
Gaye.
Yeah.
I got to
Luther.
meet Patti LaBelle. I got to sing with her on stage, and that was one of my people that I wanted to meet too. I remember my mom said, if you ever make it, who would you want to sing with? And I said Patti LaBelle. And that happened, and that was a surreal moment. That was another one of the best moments of my life. Like, wow, I'm sitting here on stage. Well, she took me to Pink's Hot Dog. Now, if you go on Sunset in California, if you go on Sunset to that Pink's Hot Dog next to like the Guitar Center or whatever it is, you'll see a picture of me and Patti LaBelle behind the chef, behind the grill on the wall. Me and all the cooks and Patti LaBelle.
Pretty good, right?
But yeah, she's an angel, man. She gave me a lot of pointers. She was one of the people who actually talked to me like, yeah, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Dot your T's. You know, I mean your I's and cross your T's. Don't let nobody change your mind on what you feel. And that's the way I've always been. And then I learned from that. I was like, back to the whole thing where Peter Rudge and all these managers just came along, all these people and lawyers. It's like everybody wants you to sprint so you can fail. And I'm like, no, I don't want to sprint. I want to run this marathon. If I can pace myself, I can smell the roses at the same time. You know, and that's what I get to do now. I get to.
It's the better way to do it.
I'm just pacing myself, just running.
You've earned it. Right.
Yeah,
You've earned it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's all been earned. And when you earn it, it's richer. It's a richer, deeper experience on so many different levels. You even came out of the gate. Your Columbia Records debut album, That's Life, reached #1 on the Billboard Jazz charts.
Yeah.
And that was followed by Christmas Made for Two and Landau Live in Vegas, recorded during a performance at the legendary Caesar's Palace. So I mean,
they told me that I would never play again because I walked out of that agreement. Peter Rudge told me that I would never play in Caesar's Palace again because he was my manager at the time, and they wanted me to stay in Vegas after that show because you headline your own show in Vegas, you get $1 million. But what they didn't say is every contestant that you was just up against is part of your show. So I only sung 4 songs. And I was like, I don't want to just sing 4 songs. By the time I get to the 4th song, I'm just getting started. I'm ready to go. Now I need about 15 more.
Right.
But it was like I had all the rest of these acts. I had Pop Life. Pop Life ended up being huge. If you ever watch like Soul Train Music Awards, and you see the house band behind the curtain that look through the curtain, that's Pop Life back there playing. Those little kids. They're actually playing for that. And Ralph Sadiq is like the singer, which is Pop Life is like their nephews and sons and stuff like that. And then the girl that was in Pop Life is Kalani. She's huge now. She's selling out stadiums. You know, you can go on the internet right now and look up Kalani. She's big. She's like big like Rihanna big. And then, you got like all the rest of the little acts that's done went all these wonderful places. Anna Graceman, all the rest of them. And it's just like, I remember all of that happening, and now we're all doing our own things, but they didn't want me. They wanted me to do that whole thing in Caesar's Palace for a year. And it was like, my idea of that contract was it was my show. Once I won, it's my show. So if I say, hey, Jim, come play the piano for me for 2 weeks in Las Vegas. I got you a plane ticket. I'll see you at the airport. That should be my decision, right?
Yep.
It wasn't like that. It was like, here's your chain. We're going to put this on your ankle. Go out there and do your thing. You got 4 songs. Then, first you're going to watch. Jerry Springer's going to come out and he's going to MC. Jerry Springer was my MC. So I got to kick it with Jerry Springer. We did Gin and Juice. And I did Gin and Juice as Frank Sinatra. Rolling down the street, smoking indoors, sipping on gin and juice, laid back, and he would beatbox, we had a whole audience laughing. And then he would come out and kill a couple of jokes. He would sing 2 songs, and Jerry Springer, actually at that time, he sounded just like Elvis Presley. So he was singing Love Me Tender, Love Me Tender, Love Me True. He was singing all those Elvis Presley songs, and he sounds exactly like him. So that was a shock. But he would come out and do that. He would do his comedy. He would do 2 songs, and then he would introduce Anna Graceman. Anna Graceman would come out and play the piano, and she would sing her songs, and then she would leave. Pop Life would come out and do their thing. They would do like 2 or 3 songs, and then they would introduce Jack Vigil from Britain's Got Talent. He would come out and do like 3 or 4 songs. Then Michael Grimm would come out, season 5 winner of America's Got Talent. He would come out, and then he would introduce me. Then I would come out and I would do Kick in the Head, Fly Me to the Moon, and Under My Skin. And then they would whisk me away to my green room, and they would change my clothes, change my jewelry, change everything. I would just stand there while they took my clothes off. Change everything. Then I would come back out, and while I was doing all that, those other acts would come out and do a couple of more things, you know, and then I would come out and do my way, and then we would all take a bow, and then I would want to go and see the fans, but they had this security team around me that would just push me through the audience. Like, people would be pulling at me like, man down. I'd be like, hey. They'd be like, no, come on, you gotta. I'm like, but that's a fan, man. Like, I can't stop and talk to him. No, we gotta get you to the green room. They got these earpieces. Like, yeah, we have Mr. Murphy right now. He's in his green room. He's right now. All right, we're taking him up to his room. And they would take me, and I would hear all this loud noise, like, and then when they closed that door, I was like, and it's just me. It's just me, the suit, the jewelry, the makeup on my face. And I remember one day the second time that happened, I walked past the mirror in my room, and I had Celine Dion's suite with her butler, everything. They gave me the top of Caesar's Palace. I had the whole top of Caesar's Palace to myself. A balcony that held 275 people. And it was just me. I'm sitting there like, this is horrible. Like, I can see why somebody would go crazy. You don't have nobody around you that you love or that loves you. Nobody you can really trust because you don't know none of them. And it's not like they can be bad people. It's just you don't know them. They don't know you. They don't even know your personality. They ain't even sit down to even ask you, what do you want, or how you feel, or what are you going through, or any of that. None of that. It's just all about do the show, get up, boom, we're out. And I remember sitting there, and I remember walking past the big wall mirror in my suite. And I had this makeup. They had put this makeup on my face. And I looked in the mirror like, oh, I was like, that ain't even me. And I started wiping it off. And I sit there and I start talking to myself in this mirror. I was like, is this what you want? I was like, this is what you signed up for. You sure this is what you want? And that voice said, nope, this is not it. We got to do it another way. And I was like, well, what do I do? I was like, you got to get out of Vegas. And so I went back to Peter Rudge and the producer of the show, this British African-American lady. She'd always try to tell me, like, you sing like with your chest out. Why are you always thrusting your... I was like, that's just me. Like, why are you trying to change who I am? Me and her would always butt heads, but I never got to the point where she hated me or I hated her. It was just, she'd always think that I should do something a certain way. And I was like, no, I got here doing it my way. That's why I sang my way for the last song. I'm going to do it the way that I love to do it. Can't let you change it, because then I'm pretending to be somebody that you want me to be. I'm not even being myself no more. And that's what happens to a lot of singers. You gotta realize a lot of singers are they're thrown into the entertainment world because their uncle or their dad or their mom wanted them to be there, and they're living through their kid. Now this kid's out there doing all this song and dance, and he just wants to go and play on the playground. I didn't want to be like that. I was like, no, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it where I'm happy and where it's nice and everybody around me is happy and we can enjoy it. And so I was just like, I was like, I gotta get out of Vegas. And I got to come back on my own terms. And so I went back to Peter Rush, and he was like, well, it sold out today, but they're predicting that it won't sell out for long. So, but if I were you, kid, I wouldn't walk away from this. All this, look at all this. You have everything. Like, why would you walk away from all of it? You want to walk away from all of this? And I was just looking at him, and I swore I could see his horns. I could see him, like I could actually look at this man and say, he's looking right through me like I ain't even human. Like he don't even see my feelings. He doesn't see any part of the realness of Landau. Like, he doesn't see it. And I can't even convince him to try to see it. So what's the point of being around this guy for a year? I'm like, no, I'm out of here. And he was like, you're gonna walk away from me. He was like, I tell you what, you can walk away, but I wouldn't recommend it. You'll never play in Vegas again. This will be your last time ever playing in Vegas. You'll never see this again. And I was like, I will. And when I see it, it's gonna be on my own terms. And I left Vegas. And then I came home to West Virginia. I started doing things for my community and my state, and I sold out the Clay Center, which is like Caesar's Palace of West Virginia. The Clay Center. And I sold it out 6 times in a row. No one's ever done that. And then I started traveling the world. Started going and doing my albums, and it's been all on my terms. And then I go back to Las Vegas 4 times over the year. And then one year it was my birthday and I had a show at Caesar's Palace. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a live album of this show. And that's how I got the Live from Caesar's Palace album. And every time I go in Caesar's Palace, I walk through the front door, I shake Caesar's hand, and I go to my room and I sit there in silence. And I'm like, I'm here again. Let's have a good time. Let's not get caught up in all this glitz and glamour. We're going to give this audience a great show, and then we're going to go back home. And that's what I do. And I'm always happy to be back home.
Your family really gave you some early grounding. Really, your mom, your grandmother, like you were talking about the family, you can almost hear their voices, and of course God, the facilitator of the energy. You can almost hear all of this flowing through you. Here's Vegas, New York, Hollywood. You could be on the shores of Malibu. You could be anywhere, Miami, and there you are back home, where it all started. It's the roots of who you are. It's what you're all about, Landau, and that's why I've somebody that I have known a long time, who actually sang at my birthday party, played guitar, and it was also an anniversary of several years I was on iHeartRadio at that time. I had reached a certain milestone. I was 15 years on iHeartRadio, and it was my birthday, and it was a fabulous thing. And he came in with a guitar, and he was entertaining us. And then just a couple of years later, he won The Voice, Nick Fratiani.
Yeah.
and he doesn't live far from here. And he went out to do the Hollywood, Nashville, all of that. And he's back east. He's back home. He's close to his family. He's still friends with his original band, the guys and he still plays with them. And then he's been on Broadway playing Neil Diamond in A Beautiful Noise on Broadway. And his father, who's also a musician, so he grew up, doing that. But before even that, Nick was a teacher at one of the local high schools. He was teaching, he did all that, but always had, this talent. And he watched his father, a huge Neil Diamond fan. So now to be on Broadway playing Neil Diamond, and then playing at the bitter end with his father, but same kind of thing as you. From what I know, since some of that other stuff he's not interested in. He's home, he's hearth, he's family, he's in musical theater now and all of this. And it's what's grounded him. And I think it's a cool thing, and it's quite refreshing. People probably surprised, you're back home where it all began. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's your upbringing, you always want to stay grounded. You put yourself on that pedestal, or you let somebody put you up there, you can get knocked off real easy. And so I don't want the pedestal. I just want the money. Give me the money.
That does pay a few bills, and
pay my bills.
You got to get new tires for the car, and
right. I can help out my friends, family, my community. I can give back to homeless or whatever, wherever I'm needed. you know, and
Yeah.
wherever I'm able to help at.
To
But I
help. Right.
remember, like, it's about listening to your surroundings, listening to the universe, whatever it is. Some people call it God, some people call it Jesus, some people call it whatever that is. Listen to it. Just shut up and listen to it. Because I remember, even in high school, I loved school, but I was just bored. I wasn't a dumb kid. I was just bored. Like, I remember going to my geography class, and I had a teacher named Dr. Kingston. He looked like that guy from Green Eyes Gets Red Eyes Rising. He looked like that guy, but he had like the Albert Einstein hairdo. Or maybe he looked more like John Lennon. He wore John Lennon clothes. He looked like John Lennon with, you know, and he would always mess with me in class. And he had this big thing, like this big board in his room, and it was the world map, and it was a big puzzle, and you can put it together for extra credit. If you didn't turn in your homework, you can put this thing together in a quick time, and he would give you extra credit for it in case you missed it. So I would, you know, lose my homework or didn't do my homework, and I would come in there and just put this thing together. So I held the record of the fastest time of putting together the world map. And one day I was in class and he was like, tell us, Lando, what happened to your homework today? And I was like, well, I just didn't do it, but I can put this thing. He was like, yeah, okay, let's see if you can break your own record. And I got up and he was like, okay, students, pay attention to Landau. He's going to put the thing together. He's just always sarcastic, you know, always had that side thing with me. And then he started the clock, and I put it together faster than my first time that I've done it. And he said, oh, you're such a smarty pants. And I was like, no, Dr. Kingston, if I wanted to be a smarty pants, I would put it together like this. And I put it together as Pangea, the big continent.
Yeah.
Because I knew, for the first time I ever seen a map, I was like, South America and Africa was together at one point. You can see it. You can see how all of these was together.
Puzzle pieces.
And then I also learned, oh my God, this light went off. And then hold on, let me just turn one of these lights on.
Now all we see is your teeth.
Yeah. And then I also learned that,
Who talking about Africa and South America together, all the puzzle pieces, everything's together.
yeah, and then as a kid, me and my dad built a fence. Before my parents split up, me and my dad built a fence. And by the time I was, you know, old enough to actually pay attention to this fence, it had moved. And that's when I knew that the ground moved. I was like, wait a minute, this sidewalk used to be over here. Why is this tree not right here close to this curb no more? It's over here now. I learned that just from common sense, just seeing the world how it was. And so it was things like that I held on to. And then getting in trouble in school, my mom would take me and put me in the basement. Not being a mean mom, but she just knew how smart I was. Because the teacher would tell her, like, Eugene is very smart. He's just bored. She's like, oh, he's bored, huh? All right, I can teach him when he get home, you know. She would take me and put me in the basement and make me read books like Why the Caged Bird Sings, Little Black Boy. I mean, all these different books, and I had to read these books, and then I had to write an essay about them before I could come up and go outside and play with my friends. But that was just my mom giving me tough love. She wasn't being mean. She was showing me what I had. And I didn't realize until I wrote all these essays. I was like, I actually am smart. Like, she was like, see how smart you are now? Why are you acting up in class, you know? But I was just bored in school. But that taught me that I could do it. I was just bored. And so I would daydream in class in my mind. But what I learned from it was I can pick up a book and I can be anywhere in this world. Anywhere. And I will totally be gone from just reading that book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now guess what the book is to me? This is the book. You don't have to live in California no more.
Could be anywhere.
You can be anywhere with this.
You could be anywhere with that.
Anywhere with this. That's why I never left West Virginia. Everybody's like, man, why don't you just stay in California? Man, you crazy. If I don't want that, I'll be in New York. I was like, I can go to New York whenever I feel like it, but I only need to be there for 3 days. I do my show, get my money, sightsee, and I'm back home. I don't need to be there. I can see it from here. The whole world is in the palm of our hands. It's right here. So I don't have to run off and try to live in La La Land and pretend to be somebody that I'm not.
David Letterman from his show, Letterman, NBC, CBS, all those years, would go into New York, do his show, and go back home to his house in northern Connecticut. Quiet.
Exactly.
Hidden away.
Quiet.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with Jerry Springer. They would go
Right.
back to you don't have to be there.
Don't have to be there.
Well, man, you are doing an interview right now. You're where?
Right in the New York area on the coast.
Right.
Yeah. You're right here.
Virginia.
And you're in West Virginia.
And right now on the screen, we are side by side.
We are side by side.
Right in the room together. And that's the beauty of technology and the power of God in our life that gave us all of this stuff that helped us do this, to communicate. But so many people are using it for bad things or just to get a like or to get somebody up in an uproar. I don't need all that. We don't need all that. As beings, not as black or white, but as human beings.
As you. And part of the reason for this, as we know, is you're not messing around.
I'm not. I'm not messing around. And this album comes from
congratulations on that.
Hey, thank you.
That's your first ever album of all original material, all songs written or co-written by you and the album's producer, Rob Hagel, like you said, best known for his work with Air Supply, LaBelle Sarah Dash, his solo career, including appearances on American Bandstand, scoring the themes for many network television shows, including Don Kirshner's Rock Concert. And this, again, I'm not messing around. New music, new material. This is cool. Congratulations on this. Your first.
Thank you. You got to thank Rob Hagel, man, because I met him in Vegas. Actually, I was doing the Dennis Bono show. You have a Dennis Bono show out at I can't remember what casino.
And he's originally from the East Coast too, Dennis, I believe. Yeah.
Right. So I was doing his show. This is like the second time that I had been on his show. And Rob Hagel happened to be there. And he was standing off on the side of the stage, like Paul Steele, just looking at me like, because most people come on this show and they do their thing and, people are eating. It's like a dinner thing. It's like live radio and they're just eating. They ain't really paying attention. But when I come out there, they're like, and then everybody's like this. And he's like, man, you have those people in the palm of your hand. He's like, I've never seen nobody hold an audience like that here. He was like, do you have your own music? I was like, yeah, I write songs. He was like, here, whenever you want to do an original album, you give me a call. He gave me his car. I held on his car for like 3 years because I was scared to give him my music, my original music, because I'm like, oh, this is my baby. I don't want to just hand it off to this dude and he goes and writes it and, steals my material. And he was like, Landau, you have to trust me, bro. You have to trust me. That's all I can say. You have to trust me. That's how he talks. He's like, Landau, send me the music, man. I tell you, we can do it. Just send me the music. All you have to do is send it. And I'll help you. I promise. I'll be right there in your corner. We're going to make good music. And then I was like, nah. And then my girlfriend was like, send him the music. Like, you sitting on this music, just send it to him and send him one of them and see what happens.
And I bet you she said it just like that, too.
Yes. She said it just like that. And I sent him Joker. And Joker is a song that I wrote for everybody who thought it was a joke. Call me a joker, but I'm not a joke. I'm just living it up, loving the life of the story I wrote. I'm having a good time, enjoying the sunshine. Smile on my face is always in place, and so they are inclined to call me a joker. But they're blowing smoke. Cause I'm like the acorn that fell from a tree and grew into an oak. And while this world keeps spinning around, I'll keep my 10 toes down on the ground. They can call me a joker, but I'm no joke. You know?
It's
And
really
that's what that
good.
song
That's
goes.
fantastic.
I
Yeah.
sent him that. Just me singing it in
You know
my
what I like
phone.
too is as you're doing it, you're living it. You're having fun. You're smiling.
Right.
You're enjoying it. You're not just singing the words. You're really into the whole thing.
Yeah. And I sent him that singing it into my phone. I sent him the audio of me singing it, and I hummed the melody to him. In less than 24 hours, this dude had a whole chart for this song. And he was like, Landau, this is amazing. He's like, you got anything else? And I start sending him the other one. I got a song, Let's Fly to the Moon, because of, Fly Me to the Moon. So I wrote, Let's Fly to the Moon. Let's fly to a moon way beyond the stars, a place of plenty and dreams of ours. It's so intriguing to think about a whole new living to figure out. And on this ride, we'll enjoy the views, a brand new life for me and you. So thankful for eyes to see what could truly be. Let's fly to a moon beyond the stars. Yeah, so it's just like
It's really good.
journey.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
That's where you're at.
And then he wrote some more songs, and he started sending me his stuff, and I started sending him mine, and we just went to I went back out to Vegas for about 8 days. Stayed at the New Orleans casino, the Orleans or whatever it's called, and 2 or 3 blocks over from there is a studio called Skeleton Key. And the engineer was fantastic. I mean, we just had a great time. His name was Bobby Ferrari. This guy was cool. He reminds you of somebody that's British. I don't know if he's British or not, but he reminds me of a British guy. And he was super cool, super nice. Put that whole band together. They came in and laid down all the stuff. Good Ice played on the piano. He basically helped write all the charts. He's awesome. You see his name on the inside the cover of the album. All those guys, man, and some of those guys that played on the album, Bob Sachs, all of them, they actually played in the house band for the Dennis Bono show. So I made all those connections, put all these guys together. We made a fantastic album. Now you can find it on all platforms everywhere. It's my first all original album. So I feel like this is a brand new beginning, and I'm ready for the new ride. I'm ready for it. And I thank everybody for all the love and support over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Jim Masters, for having me on your show, again.
That's it, right? Full circle, round and round. It goes round and round, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah, I said we got to have it back. I got to update because, everybody knows you from America's Got Talent, but which is an incredible honor to have had that opportunity. But then what happens to the person afterwards? And you've kept, through all the different craziness that life throws at us, you've kept the ball rolling, and you're the one that's rolling the ball. And that's the key thing. There's ways that it could be done where somebody else takes the ball and you got to go chase the ball, but you've always been cognizant of, all right, I understand, but I want to be rolling the ball, and then everything else follows, which I think is so incredibly cool. And he's also, gang, you've seen him on dozens of TV appearances, the Today Show, The View, CNN, Fox and Friends, The Talk, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, Hollywood Christmas Parade, extra, the Jim Masters Show live twice. And he's also, performed all over the world, as he mentioned, from China to New York City, LA to Europe, where he had the honor to perform for U.S. servicemen and their families stationed there. He sung the national anthem prior to games by the Los Angeles Lakers, Washington Wizards, New York Rangers, Baltimore Orioles, Oklahoma City Thunder, Washington Nationals, and his beloved West Virginia University Mountaineers during a national televised game, homecoming game. He's also helped raise, it's good for people to know all this, millions of dollars for charities, many in his home state of West Virginia, where he serves on the board of directors for the Children's Home Society of West Virginia. He was named West Virginian of the Year by the governor's office and the state's largest newspaper. And his book, From Washing Cars to Hollywood Stars, features his amazing story. It reached #1 on Amazon. His Live in Washington, D.C. at the Bethesda Blues and Jazz concert DVD was bestseller. In his first movie cameo in 2017 and the Ron James biopic Choices. Yeah, I tell you. And he, of course, released Lando Live in Las Vegas, pre-pandemic recordings, which we mentioned. And it's just, it goes on and on and on, these incredible things that you've had an opportunity to do. And you remain humble, especially during those post-show meet and greets. And you identify with the people, you say, who stick around to talk to you, down to earth and salt of the earth folks, who are the kinds of folks that are some of my favorite too. I really appreciate salt of the earth people, down to earth people with all the trappings of the lights and stuff around all of us, people who work hard, who earn it, who take care of their families, who give back to their communities. You believe it's the best of what America's all about, and you wouldn't be here without them. So you appreciate that with a song in your heart. And all of that is fantastic, my friend, with all the accolades and all the cool things that have happened, a few bucks here and there in the till. You've remained solid as who you are and what you want out of life and what you want to give back to other people. I think it's an awesome thing, my friend. It really is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, but I tell everybody, everywhere I go, the easiest thing you can do in this world is be who you are. The hardest thing is to pretend to be somebody you're not. That's why you see most of these stars that we love go crazy. They're not really crazy. They're just trying to be themselves, but we already view them as this over here now.
Yeah, right.
But when they start being normal, you're like, well, he ain't acting the way he used to.
Well, he's not right. Exactly. Yeah, he gets mad or he gets sad or we had, he's a dear friend of our show and of mine, and he's been on 3 times, Tony Orlando, who just retired. He's the best. Talia, Yellow Ribbon. He just had his, he wrapped up his over 60-year career, and he lives in Branson, Missouri. And he has his radio show on WABC 77 in New York, which goes national. Sweetheart of a guy. He's been here. But one thing he did say, which you'll resonate with, or it'll resonate with you, and it does with me as well. He said, fame, here's a guy who's done it all. He's done everything you could do. Fame is just an illusion. It's fame is something you can't even touch. It's not tangible.
It's
thin air. It's air. And you like all the things that come with it that you earn, and that's wonderful stuff. But you have to remember that it really is just thin air. It's the people, the family, the loved ones, the friends, the people that stick with you and that root for you and you help them and all of that. That's what really matters. Fame and chasing fame, it's a mirage.
Yeah.
And to hear that from a Tony Orlando is amazing, right?
Right. You chasing something that don't even exist. And I got to talk to Tony Orlando. I did the Casino Music Awards, and he was like one of the hosts and one of the award presenters along with myself. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, what's that? From That's My Boy with a and he bust out laughing like, hey man, how you doing? He come over here and he hugged me. We hung out that night, and he was so down to earth, man. Tony
He's
Orlando
a great person, right? He's real.
Yeah, great guy.
He's real. So you continue to have these incredible experiences, my friend. And, I just think it's beautiful. And there's so much with just getting started, even with all of this, that you've done so far and all these incredible achievements, which haven't come easy. You've had to work hard. You've had to stick to your guns. You've had to really, the story, as I mentioned, of the early beginnings of your life and the places you've been and sent to and dropped off at and all the rest, and what you've done is you've sort of made the best of wherever the zip code was. And I think that's such a cool thing. And there's that book, folks. We want to show it. Got to get the book. It really is an incredible read. What was it like writing that book? That had to be something very therapeutic and cathartic for you.
Yeah, it was a nice thing, man. I wanted to always document that journey. So I just grabbed some of it. There's going to be another book that's going to be way better than this. This book is really, really good. It gives you the foundation of it. But there's so many things that
there's another one coming, huh?
Yeah, that I could put in there that's gonna be great. And I was talking to a friend. I was like, man, my life is actually a movie. Like, it's actually a movie.
Do you know it is?
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
Growing up in poverty to me was. I never felt poor. I've never felt homeless.
Right.
Even when I was homeless, I had all these gifts. I had all these talents that helped me feed myself. And when I was sleeping in my car, I would have, $1,500 in my glove box because I would keep a pair of clippers. And I would cut all the people's heads in my neighborhood. That's how I kept gas in my car, food in my belly, kept all my clothes in my trunk, nice and neat, all my Jordans. And I would drive to my sister's house in the morning, take a shower, eat some cereal, then go to my friend's house, play Sega Dreamcast, and sit on his couch with him. And then all people would come to his house and they would all want haircuts. And I would sit there and cut hair in his basement or on their porch. And that's how I kept money in my pocket. So I've never actually felt poor, even, coming from Logan, West Virginia. I had everything I needed. I had grandparents. I had this good foundation of love around me from the community, from my family, from my sisters and brothers. We just never felt poor. We've never felt poor. We've always had everything we needed, not everything we want.
You know why? Because you're rich inside. Yes. That's what it is. The richness is inside. Yes. And they can never take that away from you.
Right.
From any of us. Yeah.
Right. From nobody. As long as you have that in your mind and in your heart. Right. Nothing is really tough, man. The tough part, like I said, is trying to pretend to be somebody you're not. Yeah. You can just be yourself every day and wake up, stretch, get some sunshine on your face.
That's it, right? Yeah.
Feed your belly, say hi to somebody, make somebody's day over here, make somebody smile over here, and go to sleep in peace. You're golden.
You are golden.
You know how many rich people walk around this planet right now that's miserable? I've seen them.
A lot of them. Yeah, right. You've seen them up close, right? I have too.
Billionaires.
They're not happy.
Miserable. Right? Like they would trade it all right now to be in my shoes. Like would really trade it all. Like, man, like when I went to Hollywood, I remember a lot of those famous people who knew me because I'm in there. I'm starstruck. I'm like, but I don't run up on them. I give them that space because I know how. I'm like, I can tell that's approachable and who
is not, right?
Give them that space. And so I would sit there and I would look at them. Then they would get eye contact with me and they go, "You're that guy. You're the car washer. Hey man, come over here, bro. This is the guy. This is the guy I was telling you guys about." And I'm like, "You know me?" They're like, "Yeah, man, we voted for you, bro." Like, say, man, that look in your eyes, that humbleness, man, please don't let that go. Don't ever let that go. Don't let none of this stuff change you. All this is all BS, man. You are the real deal, bro. Like you, and I'm like, and it tears you up, and you're like, wow. Because you always want that confirmation either from your friends, your family, or just the world. You want people to love you. And it's like, when it finally happens, you're like, oh my God, it was this easy. It was this easy for me to just be myself and everybody loves me. I ain't gotta do no song and dance. I ain't gotta do nothing radical.
Just be you. Right.
Just being me this is all it takes. And the talents and the blessings that God has bestowed upon me, I can just use these and make it through life. I mean, a welder. Think of a welder. It's his job. His job is to weld. He's great at it. That's all he does, and he's happy. He's got his family, he's got his friends, he's got everything. He's got the life he wants. Sits out on the boat after he finishes welding, fishing, He's enjoying his life.
Have you
The
seen how
same
much they
thing
get
I'm
paid
doing
per
is,
hour?
yeah,
They
it's the
do
same
well.
thing I'm
They do
doing now.
well. Yeah. But
Yeah,
he's
I made
happy.
$33 an hour in construction with Jack Whitaker, the guy who hit the Powerball for $319 million in West Virginia. I worked for him. I was working for a greasing and fueling guy by the name of Jack Day. And while I was doing the greasing and fueling on all the excavators and all of that, one of the guys quit. And he walked out of the trailer, out of the foreman's trailer, and the guy opened the door. He's like, "Hey, anybody out here want a job?" And I was like, "Me." And at the time I was making $10 an hour, and he was like, "Come on in here." Filled out the application. I was making $33 an hour as a flagger. And I was stop, go. And then he helped me move up, and I started being a concrete finisher and all that. And I would patch, water mains and things like that, and put the pipes in the ground and put the O-rings in the pipes. And I would help the excavator guy like clean out the ditch lines with a shovel. I loved that job when I was working, but I hated the flagging part. That's the worst job on the planet. But it paid me $33 an hour.
33.
And I was just like, and I remember after so long, Jack Whitaker started getting in trouble. He passed out on the freeway one time with like $375,000 in a briefcase. Somebody robbed him. Then he started like allegedly went to like Hooters and patted a girl on the butt, and she sued him. And then they started trying to tear him down, and then he had to lay all of us off. And he laid us off. Now I'm making maybe $1,200 after taxes, unemployment for maybe like 2 months. I'm just sitting at home making this money, like bored out of my mind. So I was like, I'm gonna start buying. I started buying like karaoke equipment and all the CDs and all the microphones and all that. And that's when I started like really, really getting out there singing for people. And then I started working for Mike because I got bored sitting at home. I got tired of it. And then I started doing this thing, this one-man show thing. And it just changed my whole life. But then I met Jack Whitaker for the first time after his company was all dismantled. And he was back down to, he's always been wealthy, but he had lost his granddaughter to opioids. He lost his wife. He lost her boyfriend, ended up dying and all that. And then he's just like rock bottom Jack Whitaker, but he still had, his investments, I guess. And we were doing a charity event, like waiters for hire. And I was a celebrity waiter. He was a celebrity waiter. And when we crossed each other's path, I looked at him, I was like, Jack, he was like, "Hey, you're that guy everybody's telling you, that Landau Eugene Murphy Jr. guy. Oh my God, I've been wanting to meet you for a long time, man. Everybody's told me about you. Even when you worked for me, they told me you used to sing all the time on stage. On a job, and that's real neat of you, man. The way you represent the state, we're so proud of you." And he's like, a lot of the guys didn't want to come to work until they met you. Like, you made people want to come to work because you were so funny and you sung songs while you guys were working. They talked about you every day in the meeting. This is my first time ever meeting. I always met his brother. His brother was the treasurer. But when I finally met him, he told me that, man, and I was like, wow. And I hugged him. He hugged me back. And then maybe like, I'd say about 6 months later, he died. That's the first time I got to meet him. He told me that story, and I was like, wow, because I never knew these guys even cared about me like that on the work crew. I didn't know that,
Right, yeah.
I mean, because they're from hollers, they're like mud horses. Yeah. I didn't know they loved me. So, but they would talk to me, to Jack Whitaker, every day in their morning meetings. Like Landau Eugene, I just like coming to work because he sings all day and he gets the job done, and he's singing songs and he's jumping and doing flips and jumping up on stuff and showing us how high he can jump. And I was like, what? Like,
I love how you act out all the voices of the people that you're talking about. You could be a one-man show just doing that. You could tell your story your whole life by acting out the voices of your mother, grandma, all the way up to these people. I mean, because you take on their voices. It's cool.
I do that in my concerts. That's why people love my shows, because it's like
you bring
I sing
it on.
the music, but then I also have my own stories. I'm not reaching for a Frank Sinatra story. I can tell you
Right.
about Frank
It's your
Sinatra.
story. Yeah.
It's my story though, you know. I ran into Frank Sinatra because of Bugs Bunny, you know, and then I go into that whole thing and I talk about the man at Walmart, you know, that was crazy about, you know, me being on that show and all that. I tell all these different stories and they love it, man. When they stand in that line waiting for that autograph and they come up to me and I start signing, it's like, well, now you know you can be a comedian if this doesn't work out. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
And so I want to do that one time. I want to do like, you know, a comedy show and then put songs in between the comedy instead of the other way around. But it's all a
Right.
process, man. It's wherever life takes me. I just want it to be a joyful experience for not just for myself and my friends and family and close people, but everybody, all the fans around the world that loves the arts and classics and music in general, comedy. That's what it's all about, man. We can heal a whole lot of things in this world with laughter and joy. You know, it doesn't take a scientist to figure that out. It's all common sense. It's
That's
really
what
all
it
common
is.
sense. You just treat people the way you want to be treated. How do you want to be treated when you wake up?
That's right. With
You treat somebody
respect.
else. That's
Right.
it. Now, if you go out in the world, you treat everybody else like that, then you've done your job. Now, if they happen to treat you bad, that's something they have to live with. I can laugh at you like, oh, you about to go through some misery, buddy. Because you're just walking around, you're mad every day. So, I mean, I'm going to be happy whether you're standing there or I'm right here in your face or I'm down the street. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be happy. I'm not going to let you ruin my day with this whole funky attitude you have. I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to let you steal my joy,
That's
no
right.
matter what you do. And I've been in the room with the worst of the worst. I've been in the room with racist people, KKK members. Really, seriously, I've been chased on the beach in Gary, Indiana by some skinheads because I wanted to walk to Chicago. I was on a beach with my brother, it's not a beach because it's what, Lake Superior or something like that. Anyway, we were seeing it, and I remember we was in Gary, Indiana. It was on the sandy shores, and you could see Chicago. I was like, let's see how far we can walk and get to Chicago. So we were walking, we get closer and closer to these sky-rise buildings. We seen some guys laying on the beach, on the sands with their girlfriends in bikinis. They bald heads, got tattoos all on their head, like skulls on the back of their head and all on their arms. And, you know, we walking by and they start calling us the N-word and all this other stuff. And my brother's like, man, I'm paying no attention, just keep walking. But me, at this time, I'm like 16, 17, so I'm like, I don't care what's up, what you want to do, you know? I'm living in Detroit, I'm about it. Like, let's go. But it was too many of them, so I don't know why, but they let us walk by. Then, when we walked on by, they got in their speedboats. It's like a little speedboat, like a tube boat. They got in that and they got out on the water and went around and tried to cut us off. So when they tried to come up on shore, my brother's like, we gotta run. And I was like, what are we running for? It's four of them, it's two of us. I mean, we can fight four dudes. He was like, well, I can take two of them. You gonna take two of them too? I was like, I'm gonna do my best. I ain't gonna stand here and just get beat up. Like, he's like, nah, man, we gotta go. So we take off running. And when they coming up on shore, we pass them, you know? And they cussing at us and we just, you know, giving them the finger and walk. We get up off the thing. But at the time, my cousin from Indiana was really in the streets. And he had already left us. He had ran before we even decided we was going to run. We turned around and he was gone. I was just like, where did he go? And he just took off, but he ran to his car and we didn't know what he was doing. But he ran. He knew the area. He runs to his car. And then when he gets up on the thing, I guess he gets his gun. He wraps it in a towel. And when me and my brother went past them, we run up this ramp, like where the boats come down on the thing. We ran up that. And there's this big motorcycle dude with a vest on, you know, long hair, and tattoos all on him. He's like, y'all ain't supposed to be around here. And out of nowhere, my cousin pops up like, hey, we got a problem. We was like, where you been? He's like, don't worry about that. He's like, I'm talking to him. You got a problem? He's like, y'all ain't supposed to be around here. My cousin took the towel off of that thing and cocked that gun. And dude was like, hey, man, I don't want no trouble, man. You guys just go about your business and get off of this beach. That's what you should do. And I was like, yeah. And we get in the car and we drive away. And Dexter, and my cousin, he stutters. So when he's like, hey, mama, you know, he's stuttering. And so we're trying to stay stone faced with this killer looking motorcycle rider, like this biker dude. He looks like he's a hell angel. Like he's, you know what I'm saying? Big. He's like 6. This guy had to be like 6'5", like 320, with a big vest on, tattoos, all like long hair. Got the chain hanging from his wallet, you know, to his knife. Like, and it was just the scariest thing ever. But you have to stand strong, you know. And luckily Dexter was there with that gun. But I don't promote no violence now, but that's the type of things that I went through. So that's why I don't take no days for granted, and I try to live my life in peace. When anybody's coming at me with negativity, I'm smiling at them, and I'm watching them go down this rabbit hole of anger, and I'm questioning them with my own mind, like, why are you so mad? Like, what did I do to you that makes you so mad today? And I just walked in the room like, what is wrong? And it's people going through life today, right now, that's just that anger. They wake up, they sleep, they fist balled up. You know what I'm saying? Then they wake up and they go to work, and then they take that whole anger to work, and then at work it builds up more, then they take it back home to their family, and then there's some chaos in this house. It's like, who breaks the cycle? Who breaks that mold? Like, somebody need to pick that mold up and smash, you know, and create a whole new one. Oh, this is white. This is beautiful. Okay, we got a little flowers over here. And, you know, you put it all back together the way you really want it. How do you want to live? Do you want to live miserable, or do you want to live happy? When I pass away, I want all my grandkids around me, you know, and I just want to go out in peace, or on a roller coaster, or having sex with my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be shot up somewhere, or, you know, I'm just being real. I don't want to die in life. I don't want to die in a car crash. And, you know, I prayers for all the families or anybody that died in a car accident or any type of violent way. But it's all about the choices we make in life, man. It's all about those choices. Those little things can veer you on the wrong path so fast, and it's so hard to get back on track once you do it. So you just gotta think before you react. You think, and when somebody comes to you with a negative attitude, just look at them and smile. People don't like to argue with people that they can't argue with.
Right.
They hate that. That's the worst thing in the world. My mom always told me, if you gotta argue with a woman, leave her, or just stand there in silence and see how long she stands there and argue. I don't sit there. I don't argue with nobody. You sit there, you talk all this, oh man, you MF or you this, you that. I'm gonna sit there and look at you like this, like, you finished?
You finished?
All right, I'm gonna go over here and shoot some hoops. So what are you gonna do?
Right.
You know, you gonna keep raising sand until the cops come here and arrest you, and then you go to jail. Now you gotta get bailed out.
Gotta go through all this. Yeah. And all I asked you is, did you want vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry?
Right.
And you flipped out.
People go to McDonald's and they get mad at the person behind the counter for not putting a pickle. It's a pickle. Like, who cares?
That stuff's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
It's just people take stuff so to heart when you don't have to, man. Every day should be pleasant. And I know
everybody has a story, and everybody's going through things.
Yeah, everybody's going through something.
Everybody's going through things.
But you also have a choice to how you want to live, how you want to take it. Like,
and how you respond and how you treat people.
Right.
Right.
Treat people the way you want to be treated, and you will never go wrong. There's no way you can lose.
That's right, my friend.
There's no way you can lose. Even if they want to treat you bad, you can still smile and say, man, I know I made him smile today, even though he's still a butthole.
Right.
You
have a nice day, right?
Have a nice day, and I never have to see you again. How about that?
That's it. That was it. You're enjoying life, my friend, and it's apparent and it's evident, and you're on the stage stages and in the studios and making the music and, helping out people and sharing the love, which I think is really a cool thing. And your story really is amazing, how it all came about and how it is now. And I think that's what's cool about it. And even, the winning of taking home the 6th season of America's Got Talent, was such a glorious time, but so much more beyond and so much more to come. This was really an amazing conversation, my friend, as the last one was. We almost chatted for almost 3 hours. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. And it's like nothing. It goes by in a New York minute. We just have I don't even call these interviews. Like I say, I call these conversations. No questions, nothing scripted, free flowing, and just a good conversation. And all the people, watching from around the world who've been commenting. I have no words for how much I enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for making a return visit to Lovelady Hall, Landau. May your star continue to rise. You're an amazing human. You, Lovelady hugs from Maureen in Arizona, one of our longtime faithful Lovelady viewers here on the Jim Master Show. Sherry Larson in Kansas, thank you for being here tonight with us.
Sherry.
You are an amazing man. I'm very impressed with what you have done with your life. Blessings on all you do in the future. Austin Field, you gotta love his singing. Kathleen in New York City, thanks for being here, Landau. This was a great conversation. Thanks for singing for us. Thanks for singing for us, and wishing you continued success. Just some of the folks watching wanting to share their thoughts as well. You're the best, my friend. Thanks for stopping by the Jim Masters Show live series. Once again, there's the website for Landau, and you can check everything out on Spotify and iTunes and all the rest, and the new music. Much more coming out. A second book is coming out. And remember, he's not messing around. He means business with a good heart and a good soul, raised by a wonderful mama and all the rest of the family. And that he's kept that front and center, and it makes a difference. Really a cool conversation, a return visit, my friend. Always love having you here. I'll keep the porch light on for you. As I always say to everybody, you're welcome back anytime, even if you just want to chat. Spread the word about our show, and I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, my friend.
I always do. Thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing. You're getting, creating a platform for us to get our story out there. So it's always a pleasure. Anytime you guys need me, I'm here. And for everybody who watched this whole thing and gave your comments, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And what you see is what you get.
Exactly right.
I'm not messing around.
He's not messing around. Landau is here on the show, and so cool to have. And our mutual fabulous friend, the one and only Burke Allen, is watching. Hey, Burke. Lovelady Burke here. Landau, what an honor to work with all you, with all these years he's worked with you. And that is beautiful too, right? It takes a village surrounding ourselves with people who believe in what is being done, the message, all of it, the talent, and helping to spread the word and get it out there. And really cool stuff. Burke's great. All these fabulous viewers are great. We appreciate it. Sherry Larson.
We'll all run this marathon together.
We all run the marathon together. You got it, my friend. Absolutely. Come see us again and spread the word to everybody you know about our show. And thanks for all the time. You're the best, Landau. Really wishing you nothing continued blessings and joy in your life.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masters.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. And we're both juniors, too. See?
That's right.
I knew it.
Pick up the album, everybody. Pick up the album so I can continue to give back to everybody around the world that needs it.
There it is.
That's what it's all about, baby.
That's right. Bottom line, after all of this, folks, pick up the album. Pick up the album. Yeah. And our message is also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Jim Masters TV on YouTube. They should all do that, right, Landau?
Ooh.
I guess that's a yes.
You see the thumb?
I see the thumb.
Yeah, it popped up on my screen. I guess you're right. When you do certain things, it gives some
Just
type of
when you give the thumbs up, it just did it. There we go, right?
Oh,
Look at that.
I gave him a heart.
Oh, it's doing on yours. I love it. We call that levity around here, Jim Master Show levity. Support everybody. I support him. He supports me. Let's support each other. Landau, thanks again for stopping by. You're the best. Great conversation. Thanks for being so open and real as always. And congratulations on everything. And we'll keep that light on for you, my friend.
Hey, thank you so much. Everybody continue to watch the Jim Master Show. Let's go. Peace.
Oh, I like that. He's going to have to sing our new theme song, the Jim Master Show. Let's go. I love it.
That's the song. Don't make me write it. You know I will.
Well, I know, right? With levity.
Work on that now.
He's going to work on it now.
Yeah.
You got it. Thank you, sir.
Send it to you shortly.
Yeah. You be well, my friend, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, Landau. Take care. Be well.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.
We don't say bye. We say see you later.
See you later, everybody.
See you later. There he is. Isn't that a great way to... Kind of like this. There he is. See you later, everybody. Great guy, huh? This is his return visit. If you are new to the Jim Master Show, just joined us maybe in recent years. I can't believe I'm saying years. We've been doing this for almost 4.5 years now, which is amazing. We started the series during the pandemic. You guys know I work in television and radio station film. We started this series back when the pandemic started. And Lando was on one of our earlier guests, and he's had so much happening in his life since we chatted last. I said, boy, it was really cool to catch up with him. You know, many of you, again, remember he won season 6 of America's Got Talent, which is such an extraordinary thing because, you know, you're up against thousands and thousands of people. It's like a cattle call wrapped around poles. People have all of these dreams, and to be selected numero uno is quite a thing. Well, it's what he's done with his life before that and what he continues to do with his life after, and giving back to people, giving back to the community, and loving the ride and having a good time. You can see he laughs. He has a good time when he's with his audience, with his fans. We're fans as well. And it's just he's a great spirit. Don't forget, you can pick up his book too. He's writing another one, he said, which I think is something really cool. There's the book and all the music too. Yeah. And I know a lot of you like Christmas. He does have that great Christmas album too. Christmas Made for Two. So check that out, gang. And much more music coming on the way, coming down the pike and on the way. And as I mentioned, the latest is I'm Not Messing Around. So pick that up as well. Some great stories, right, from our friend joining us here. We appreciate him being on our show for a second time. Really epic conversation. That's what we do here, gang. These are conversations. These should be Academy Award-winning conversations. We should be getting Emmys and Academy Awards for these conversations and for this series. A return visit for one of our faves, and he'll be back, as Schwarzenegger said. He'll be back. We'll have him again for you here on the show. Thanks for all the great comments, all the levity, and very important, he said, get the album. Absolutely. And on this show and on this series, we would love it if you, and this helps us grow, if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up, like on the YouTube channel next to the episode. Share the episode on your social media. Drop a comment in the comments section below the episode. Interact with us. What did you enjoy about the conversation? What are some of the great things that you've enjoyed that Lando has shared with us? Do you remember seeing him on America's Got Talent? And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, where all these episodes are housed for all of you to enjoy. We've got amazing guests coming up. Don't forget, you can binge watch almost 1,200 shows we have done so far, which is amazing. Binge watch some of your favorites again, or if you missed something from way back when the Pointer Sisters were on our show, or anybody else. I mean, it's Melissa Manchester. So many great guests have been with us. Check it all out in the archives on the Jim Masters Show on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. First time here, welcome to the show. We thank you for being here. We thank everybody who subscribes, likes, comments, and shares. It means the world to us. We always say thank you. And with all of that, Don't forget to love one another. Don't forget to take care of one another. Don't forget to love yourself. Really important to do that, gang. And for Landau and for me, Jim Masters, join us again. I'll be right here waiting for you in the host chair to entertain, inspire, and have more fun with you on the Jim Masters Show, just like it says back there. Come see us again. Be well, and cheers.